welcome to the second week of the Esports Valorant Rumble. This is the first week of the Valorant Rumble where we will be able to see the Esports Towers players and teams competing against each other to take home the inaugural championship title. We'll be bringing you the semifinal match as well as the grand finale series tonight, and we'll be guaranteeing you, we will guarantee you an exciting moment for each and every single one of the games we'll be showing you this evening. I am your host, Artemis Nerdybird Rain, and joining me to call all the action once again is the one and only Riley Nappy Boyd. Riley, how are you this evening?
I am great. I'm excited to get into this Rumble. We got to watch, some of these teams go at it a little bit a couple weeks ago, and if this is anything like that broadcast, boy, this is going to be fun.
Well, they have had an additional week because we did not broadcast last week. We were allowing them, that extra little bit of time to group up, get together, and tweak things a little bit. Has there been any major changes in your opinion? I know that a couple of the heroes got buffed, but unfortunately, in my realm of playing, none of the meta has changed.
Right.
So I of course I play at a way lower level than any of these players are capable of playing at. At the higher ranks, though, it might have actually had an effect. Do you think anything's going to be a little bit different this week?
I don't think so in terms of the meta. I mean, we haven't had any of the complete overhauls that we've seen in the last couple of months. I don't think we're going to have anything crazy, but I mean, again, like you said as well, I watch a lot of Valorant, but when I get into playing it, the tweaks don't matter too much because I'm still going to miss my first 4 shots and die every time. So
that's completely fair. And plus, Valorant is, one of those games where the TTK is much lower. It's like playing Call of Duty in that regard. It's not like Overwatch where you can literally peek, see where someone's at, not hit any button, stand there for a hot second, take damage, and still live. If someone's a good shot, which at the end of the day, aim is one of the hugest things in this game, in my opinion, you're done for if you peek.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where that is what separates even the good players that I'll get a chance to play with, and then these guys, and then from them even up to the next level, crosshair placement and aim, getting that quick trigger. Those things just set people apart. Being able to crosshair place right on someone's head literally instantly as soon as they come on camera, so important. Takes hours to get there.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that personally. I don't foresee myself ever getting there. I'm just that person that's like, hey, I'm going to play Sage. If someone wants to ego peek, let me wall you up so you can have that advantage. Or I like to play Jet and just, kind of just use my updraft and then dodge and kill 2 people, and then I kind of die right afterwards. But, I got value in that case.
It's okay. It's okay. It looked cool and you found 1 or 2. That's all that matters, right?
Yes. I go for style points. I know that doesn't count in this game, but that's what I go for.
Respect.
All right, so this evening we are excited to watch a round-robin group stage to decide who our final 3 teams will be tonight. Let's see how the group stage shook out in total. We had a lot of really close series throughout the entire round-robin stage, with a lot of games going the full distance. The Riptides looked dominant in the group stage and advanced straight into the grand finals. And the Hurricanes showed incredible individual skill, but dropped their game versus the Riptides, forcing them to play in our semi-final match this evening.
Looks like we've got just a lot of interesting, I like the way that this tournament is set up where you're not just one and done, These teams have the opportunity to continue to advance and see what can happen. They go down, they lose that first map, that chance to regain and just get some of those comms back and get the chance to fight their way back into the grand finals. I like that a lot.
Round robins also give you the opportunity to get a little bit of taste of every single team's style of gameplay and kind of calculate how you need to change for that match as it comes up if you're going to be playing them once again in the semi-final series. And speaking of changing things, we always kind of have one thing that does stay the same here, and that is Doc's keys to the game. And those, of course, are presented to you today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice and at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve performance under pressure, and you'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Doc's keys to the game today are: callouts are critical, watch corners, callout ability usage, and track enemy econ, something I am still working on. Doc's keys to the game are once again presented to you by esportstower.com. Check them out at esportstower.com.
Yeah, and I think that all 4 of those are super important. that is another thing, you talked about, one of those things that amateur players, I think, like you and I, and even people when you get into pubs and even some league ranked play, like understanding the econ of this game is just so important. Knowing when to force, knowing when you can full buy, knowing what's going to happen with teams getting exit elims and stuff out of a site. Being able to understand what you're going to be facing in the next round makes all the difference on how you peek and stuff. I mean, if you know someone's on like a 10 and they've won 3 straight rounds, maybe not peek a long hallway because they're probably going to have an op.
Yes, the op buy. My teammates always are like, Sage, can you buy me the op? Anyway, well,
No.
I wish I said no. I'm not good at that.
Aw.
We took a sneak peek with that scoreboard to see how the round robin series shook out, and now we're going to see how that group played out exactly. So let's get the best of our one semifinals where we have the Esports Tower Infernos versus the Esports Tower Hurricanes Bind. Well, playing on Bind. Not my favorite map, but it might be your favorite map.
It's not bad. It's not bad. That is one thing that I do like. That is the one overhaul that we didn't even touch on was a new map. We didn't even talk about Breeze coming into play.
I haven't touched Breeze yet. I'm not gonna lie, I have not touched it. But okay, so let's talk about what exactly occurred in this match right here. Overall, both teams had 1 week together as a team with minimal practice leading up to this event. Both teams only lost to the Riptides in the group stage, and it was a really close semifinals as the teams were very evenly matched in ranked, and both teams had strong individual performances. However, the Infernos showed great coordination as a team, which is a strong sign for a team who has only been together for a week, and some good milk showed throughout the event that he is one of the best Reynas in the tournament. Oh my gosh, Reyna. Oh, that's nightmare fuel for me. They showed incredible individual skill, and then Frosty was a key part of their success as they showed great clutch ability and opened up a lot of situations for them as their entry fragger. As far as the Hurricanes go, the team showed a lot of great individual skill, but lacked in the team coordination department, which hindered them in closing out this game. Unfortunately, 1 week sometimes isn't enough for everybody. They looked great throughout the tournament for the lack of practice that they had, only dropping a game or two in the finals list. And this team showed a lot of promise and looks to be a serious competitor moving forward in our future events. After an exciting semifinals, we have the Esports Tower Infernos moving on to our grand finals to face the Esports Tower Riptides. The Esports Tower Hurricanes did not make it. It was a hard-fought series for them, and we would like to congratulate them on their third-place finish in this week's first event that we are doing thus far for Esports Tower, and we are sure we will see them very soon in the future.
So it's Hurricanes and so we have 2 sea storms going at each other. They're making waves. I see.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It was too easy.
You can pull out the puns all you want. I totally understand. But, okay, I'm going to be honest, though. When you have a name like Inferno, I expect, low-key, I want them to be playing Phoenix, and I don't see the Infernos playing a Phoenix, and that just hurts my heart.
This is true. This is true.
Right now, we are also looking at Raskin playing one of my favorite heroes, one of my favorite initiators. Here right now is Jet. I'm hoping we'll see them. Oh, they've already used up their up-drop ability, so they won't be able to dodge that Venom screen that is over in that corner. And we do see some good milk. One of those players that we mentioned had some great opening abilities here, as well as playing the Nightmare Fuel hero that is, well, operator that, in my opinion, is difficult to master, but once you do it, you are an unstoppable force.
Yeah, that overheal is so clutch. And this is such a tough situation here for Raskin. I mean, you're in a 1v5. Second pistol, you've got the ghost going on. And again, there's the crosshair placement. But, I mean, you're getting triple chout. That's a great little tailwind to get away there, though. And, oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Are we? Oh, you might not have won that round, but getting 3 kills near the end is great. I personally love the Ghost, especially in pistol round. I go Ghost, light armor, and that's about all I buy on both Sage and Jet, just because I like to dive in, dive out, and get my kills and be done with it. Not always the best tactic, but obviously the Ghost is not the worst weapon to be picking if I see multiple players using it.
No, and early on, in a game, the Ghost is a go-to. It's usually, we've seen some frenzies come out and stuff, but the Ghost has just kind of been a diehard standard through those first 2 pistols, and it definitely is fun to use. And now, because Hurricanes won those first 2 rounds, you're going to have a decent amount of eco on both sides here, and we should get to see some of those big boy guns coming out now.
We do see we've got a screen up right now. However, players are still going down to the Sage despite it. And there goes down the Sage on the side of the Hurricane. So that leaves them with just their Killjoy standing. And oh my, we've got what I call the McCree gun right there. And unfortunately, I feel like the fire rate is just not enough when you are in that type of situation. A 1v5, you're just not going to get enough shots off unless every single one is a headshot.
Yeah, that's brutal. You know, we've seen a lot of individual pushes here by both sides, but the spray through that screen to start off from the Inferno Sage there, so key. Finding that opening first blood from almost nothing was so important.
We see right here we've got some good milk looking at this. It looks like down long on B. They're ready to get that early pick. Obviously, they've calculated some of the rotations they're expecting to see. We have I believe that's the operator right there with Jet looking down on, oh my gosh, they're looking down A and...
Oh, don't peek. Don't do it.
Don't do it. My heart is going to hurt because that's an insta-kill. And
the thing is, too, when you're running a Jet operator combo, I mean, it's like the peek comes through here, you know, right about now. You got to hit that shot, and then you can just tailwind away. And you get one tapped in the head by the Vandal instead. Brutal, because now the op goes to the other side.
If they pick it up. Sometimes you get lucky and you have a teammate who's willing to go run and grab it, but that's also kind of a death run for themselves because there was 4 other people looking down that same alleyway. We do see the usage of the scouting arrow being used right here to try. Oh, wait, no, was that an ultimate?
No. That was just a really well-placed scout to get some vision on the other side of the map, I believe.
Gotcha. So, of course, as we've mentioned before, in Valorant, one of the biggest things is having information on the enemy team, and that comes down to making sure you can hear them if they are not, you know, hitting their shift key and walking, or figuring out where they are using hero abilities, well, operator abilities that give you sights throughout the course of the entire round.
I think Hurricanes might be on the defuse right now. Those are 2 nice shots from the op, and that stopped the defuse there because it looked like Kuro was actually on the spike. Just kind of the risk play to just kind of fly at it and try and get the defuse.
Unfortunately, though, it was not done fast enough. 2 were still alive, and we can see that the Killjoy was camping over by where the spike was planted right there. So it might have been a death run if Jet had chosen to run in and try and defuse that one. They ultimately did not get it in time, and so that does result in the Infernos getting up 2 here, and I do believe, as we mentioned, that the Infernos come out on top throughout the majority of this series, and that is A-okay. They just clicked a little bit more than some other players, and it happens.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see here Infernos have their Sky ult ready. One of the most funny and, in my opinion, memeable players in the game. Also, a very frustrating ult to go up against, you know, a lot of map knowledge coming through. And on the other side, you've got that Sova, Hunter's Fury, and that Knives from the Jet as well. Let's see if anyone wants to invest early on in this game. So
with Jet, I have heard some mixed things. I, of course, am attempting always to get headshots, but more than often than not, it's a body shot. I've heard that it's a one-shot headshot with Sky's ultimate. Is that true?
With Sky's or Jet's?
Oh, sorry, with Jet's ultimate.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yes, and it's very frustrating. And you saw the Hunter's Fury get invested there as well, so I don't think we'll see anything else. But yeah, it is, and it's very frustrating when you get those tailwinds, people flying at you with those knives. It's brutal if you're playing against someone that knows really well what they're doing. Oh, you gotta hit those shots simple there.
That Sky, I think that Sage is so low. Oh yes, and Sage does finish off the other Sage. I am the better Sage. That's always what I drop in chat when I manage to kill the enemy Sage. Because it's a once in a round thing that happens for me.
That's okay. You know what? I like this play from some good milk here. You saw him throw the op off the map. So he knows it's almost impossible to clutch this 1v5. He doesn't want to pop Empress there and invest the ult early. So just get the op off the map because he's going to get found there. So now he doesn't have to worry about the other team just going and picking it up, and it just stays out of the game.
That was a beautiful round for the Hurricanes right there. They got a flawless, no one had a plan, and they managed to kill everybody with no one on their side dropping, so that could be, you know, the spark that they needed to ignite to come out more equally in this round. We'll see, as they are still on the defensive side. I always claim that I am a defensive player. I'm not an attacking player, even though I somehow magically always end up with the spike when my team is going for the plant, and as the person who's bad at aiming, I advise don't give me the spike.
That's okay. Sometimes sometimes it helps too if you end up with it. You can just kind of play back and wait for the site to get clear. And this is going to be, it looks like they're trying to invest everything over here towards the C spot. Looks like the Hurricanes are really spread. You see that Jet's all the way over there on A, and you've got, it looks like the Sova through mid. He might get a quick flank, but the opening break there coming through and opening up the C site really well for the Hurricanes.
We do see that Jet is now rotating over towards C. They're kind of, it looks like at least, that they're attempting for the Hurricanes to pinch off the side of the Infernos right here. Granted, though, I do not feel like staying over by A as long as Jet did was very advantageous, as when your team announces that there is 4 on C, that basically gives you the idea that everybody is over there and you should be rushing to meet up with your teammates. Unfortunately, it does look like Jet is now the last player standing for the side of the Hurricanes. Thrifty, that is not something I have seen at the end of the round. Would you mind explaining that one?
Yeah, so Thrifties win. You don't really have to spend any money on guns for the round because you either can pick up or you just keep all of your guns from the last time. So it allows you to save quite a bit of money there at the end. And it's honestly really demoralizing when you get thriftied because that means that the other team's eco is ludicrous going into this next round and probably for the next couple rounds because they didn't have to invest at all for an entire round and they still won.
That is one of Doc's keys to the game. Keep track of your enemy's econ. Something I'm still struggling with, but I am learning. Especially if you lose the round, you want to econ buy and make sure that you can go full buy the next round. Your goal is to not spend as much as necessary, not get a full kit, and still come out on top. But when your enemy team is already so stacked with money that they can buy whatever the heck they want, that can be very difficult for someone or an entire team to complete.
Yeah, and you saw, not the case this time, I don't believe. There's going to be some, there's some investment here coming through, some good trades coming out, and the Inferno's down to just this Killjoy, and she's pretty weak. Got a swarm grenade going out there, just trying to keep the players off the spike, because obviously it is planted, but yeah, this is almost an unwinnable here.
Unfortunately, I believe you're, oh my.
And that was the ult coming out there from Brim, just trying to keep him off the spike. That's a great play from Frosty, though. Got it down to a 1v1. I think the spike is at half. It's just waiting to peak, but wow, what shots from Frosty.
Dang! Killjoy clutched it!
That
was...
was...
and they stole the gun with the beautiful spray. Always awesome.
This right here, waiting on this, on the orbital strike from Brim, knowing that it was going to come through. Brim didn't quite place it far enough on the map. Just letting Killjoy just kind of sit in that corner, wait, know someone's on it, because that's an obvious bait to peek it, and just have the guns get a Chow, get back, and then Ego Chow once again. That was just fantastic knowledge of the game from Frosty.
All right, we can see that on both sides. Both stages have their resurrect ability ready to go, so if someone goes down in the early fights, those stages will have the opportunity to res if it's in an advantageous spot. So hopefully their teammates are aware and they don't go down in an area where there's 3 guns looking down, well, their stage is looking down the barrel of 3 guns. It's never a fun place, and they won't get rezzed, or they'll have to wait a very, very long time staring at their stage, hoping that it does happen.
Yeah, and you saw that Sage wall get invested there just so you could get that res. Looks like Sky went down early. Sage did a good job of using her ult to make sure that someone was there. And it works out well when you know there's the ult. You can kind of peek long there. And
Jet.
No, the tail draft into the wall. That's brutal. Feels bad.
Getting
feels bad.
stuck on map geometry happens to us all. It's okay.
That's brutal. I hate when that happens. And look at how well the Infernos are just all pushing as a team here. Like, this entire game, they've all just moved as a unit, and Hurricanes are kind of spread out. I mean, it's just taking, like, unfair gunfights.
Well, okay, so the strategy that I have encountered when you want to play spread out is play slow, play for picks, and, you know, if you die early, that kind of kills the opportunity for that wraparound play slow strategy. And if the other team, in this case the Infernos, is playing together, they're going to just then instantaneously push down wherever they are looking, which I do believe in this case it was A, and plant the spike and hold down point. That's all they need to do. And when you are playing for that slow pick, you need to make sure you are communicating where you're at and what abilities you're seeing being used, and also ensuring you know where the enemy team's rotating.
Yeah, I think all those things are spot on. You know, the communication and the map knowledge is critical there. As you see another attacker's win there, another attacker's round just in the books. That Hurricanes are doing such a good job of getting the spike down quickly, and and making the plays.
And we do see on the side of the Inferno stages, once again, the Spike carrier, you brave soul. Let's see what's going to happen. We do have the same ults on site for both operators available for both teams. I'm going to be very interested if we see one being used to go aggro or one being used to even out the playing field a little bit after one side loses one of their operators. It's always up to the players and whether or not they feel as though it's worth it, but I love seeing some good ult ability usage in this game because it is so quintessential.
Yeah, and that was almost such a great use of that stim beacon there as well from the Brim, and he found one, but he got traded out there. And I think you're right. I'll be interested to see if this Empress comes out. I believe Hurricanes have had Empress for quite a while now and just not invested it. So we'll be interested to see what happens here in Dotbot. You can't miss those first 2 shots.
No,
you can't miss those first 2 shots.
And now it's... Okay, a 2v3 is still very winnable for both the defenders team and the attacking team. After all, if the defenders can identify where the attackers are wanting to go, they will have the ability to basically camp out that spot and rotate around and take out those who are trying to plant. It is now a 2v2. I do not know if the Hurricane Sage has their heal ability up just yet. Oh, they did just use it, so now it's on cooldown for the next 38 seconds. Granted, both players are very high health, so it's okay for them to be going into this next fight. We do see that Killjoy's looking out to possibly throw out one of their grenades to get the opportunity for their Sage to block off this point. We see Sage is now planting with the help of Killjoy, but the other Sage is looking right at both of them and gets a double and the defuse.
Yeah, and that's almost tough in that case.
Oh my gosh.
You're getting the plant down. And that's the worst time to go, you know, if right after you get it down. You almost want to get taken out before that spike goes down. You know, that's even more eco now to the Sage from the Hurricanes. And if you're the Infernos, you want to be able to put your foot on the gas and just kind of drive away. You know, that could have gone 7-2, now 6-3. The numbers just seem, even though it's still 3 rounds, it just seems a lot more winnable on the side of the Hurricanes to keep yourselves in it going into half, which we're going to be coming up in here in a couple rounds.
We do still have Empress online for both sides. For the side of the Hurricanes, I really hope that they group up on this one, identify where the Infernos are going, and basically allow that Empress to get as much value as possible with support from their teammates. But at the end of the day, I'm not the players. I'm just the caster.
And there's the op coming out from Frosty. Couldn't quite find
ego
the
peek.
first one.
Do the ego peek.
Oh, and Senpo's just kind of shouldering it here. That's, you got to be, I'm saying his name wrong there. I know it now. I know it now. I'm just realizing that I said that wrong. So I'm just going to say Sova so I don't sound stupid.
Yeah, I would stick with Sova.
Oh, good shot. Good shot.
Oh, yes, and I do believe that that was the op being used right there by that Killjoy. And anyone that's watching that's unfamiliar, that is a one-shot headshot kill in this game. So if you have good aim, you are literally unstoppable.
Yeah, the op almost counts as a whole nother operator. Like, literally, though, like, that it feels like it's a whole nother person on the map, just how good it is on this game. It is crazy good to be able, if you're a good operator player. And great shots. Oh, that's, you know what? That's a great 2-for-1 there. Great 2-for-1.
That was, but, you know, speaking, in all honesty, when you see 2 players right in front of you and you get that first kill, kiting back a little bit, making sure you can reload, and possibly identifying if there's another person back to Doc's keys, check your corners, would have helped out a little bit there. Maybe just changing your path of rotation to give you a little bit more of an advantageous positioning would have been better. We do still, we've got now a Jet and going against the last standing player of the Infernos. The Jet has that ultimate ability. I do not think they'll proc it just because it is a 1v1, but they still have to be careful. And as I say that, the Jet goes down and the attackers win once again.
Yeah, and there's some good milk again. We saw them kind of popping off a couple weeks ago, being a key player for this Infernos team. And once again, they're doing it. You saw Empress did get invested there from some good milk. So you've got nothing online now for the Infernos. You've got 4 of your 5 online for the Hurricanes. It's going to be interesting to see if they start investing these because, I mean, you go down 4 rounds. You're keeping it pretty well on a map that doesn't necessarily favor you as well. So you're doing a good job of keeping it close, but you could really change some things if you start to invest in your your ultimates.
Well, we do know that the Sage ult ability, as we mentioned, is a Resurrect. It's a support ability. However, Jet's ability is deadly. The Empress is also very deadly. It just comes down to using them and making sure you're using them in situations where it's not going to be everybody on your team popping their ults at once, because the last thing you want is to lose your ult econ, unless it's the final round, in which case, you know, you pop everything before the swap.
Yeah, you see, I wonder if this is almost a situation where the ult might be coming in. You see the Frenzy out. There's one. The overheal there. The overheal comes through, and probably a good idea not to invest there, because there was a double chow. That was tough.
We see the slow orb being used right there by the Sage. There is a sight block coming out as well. Bad Apple is planting, so there's the plant coming out. It is a 3v4. Obviously, that Sage does have their Resurrect ability, but they're probably not going to use it just yet. Sage goes down for the Inferno, so that's a 3v2.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
There you go.
Yes.
There's your one shot to the head.
That is what I like to see, Reskin. Beautiful.
Yeah, and you get to pick up a cool. I think that's a Vandal skin that they picked up there for the next round. Ready to roll with that. Yeah, that was such a great play there from Redskin. It's like, I always feel like when a Jet is really good and they pop their ult and, you know, they find that first elim, it's almost inevitable that it's going to be at least 3 or 4. They just like get in a zone and just start flying at people, and it's horrifying. It's horrifying to play against. I
love using updraft and then just coming in above people, because they never, for some reason, yes, they're good at checking corners, they're good at watching rotations, but death from above is not something you anticipate in Valorant, if I'm being honest.
No, not at all. Oh no, brutal peek there.
That's okay. The Sage does still have Resurrect if they're going to be very gutsy and do it right now, or they can hold off and wait for the rotations to come out and Resurrect later. After all, but they don't have to use it at all. They can always try and even out the score and take out one of the operators for the side of the Infernos. 3 members on the side of the Hurricanes are still chilling out with those ultimates. We do see Sage for the Infernos has gotten the plant out. There's a toxic wall out now from the Viper, so that's going to make things a little bit difficult for people to get in and do anything with. And is that Brimstone's ult again?
Yeah, and that was just an instant invest, because I don't think Brim even had it before the round. So got it and called it. As soon as they got it, I would imagine that the plant got them over the line there. And there's Sova finding one, but you and Reyna trying to fly into the site. It was a 2v4. Now it's not, you know what? That almost got there, but some good milk utilizing that overheal there just to kind of survive that round, because got a little hairy there for a second.
Some Good Milk, as we mentioned before, is a very clutch player for the side of the Infernos. Some could say that they are a powerhouse, or they're the, you know, milk that everyone drank that morning for breakfast.
Oh boy. Okay, I got mine off, you got yours off. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
I can't even drink milk, okay? It hates me.
Whenever you say some good milk, though, as this is going to be fun because we are in the pistol rounds. Whenever you say some good milk, like, as you're commentating, I have to think about it for a second, because it's like, here's some good milk. And I'm like, wait, we're talking about Valorant, not Oh, some is in front of the... That's my bad. That's my bad.
All right, so they have swapped sides. The Hurricanes now are on the attack. It is up to them to get that spike plant. It looks like they are once again going out with that spread out composition that they've been doing. They've got 3 players kind of watching around the B and C area, as we have one rotating towards A, trying to take out that Killjoy's bot. And for the Infernos, they've already gone down 1, as have the Hurricanes. Sage still has their heal online. They do heal up their teammate, thankfully. It is a 4v4. Anybody can get this one. Unfortunately, Brimstone was low health as well, and you only have a heal once every 40 seconds, so you can't heal 2 people rather quickly. And that's always a painful experience, because it's like, who do I heal? I can't decide. And ultimately, you typically just pick the person closest to you.
Yeah, you just got to kind of get it off unless someone's really low and someone's been popping off. And those are some of the most satisfying things in the game. Good classic shots. I love good classic shots in this game.
And we do see Viper goes down, so Dotbot is no longer in this round. We've got Sage and Reyna, the last 2 standing, with a Sage and Reyna on the other side. Sage is getting the plant off. They successfully have done it. However, their Reyna is now very low on health. They need to be careful. The Sage is also low. With that healing orb, you can only heal yourself or your teammate once every 45 seconds. So it's going to come down to, who do I want to give advantage to? Is it me or my teammate? And unfortunately, that overheal is also going to kick in for the other Reyna, and Bad Apple with that Sage play is going to come in and help, and the defuse for the Infernos is going to happen.
Yeah, and that's so tough when you're sitting there and you're like, all right, I've got two of, like, they're both weak, you know, we can chow this, and then the Reyna gets literally one shot in on you, and it finds you, and they're able to pop their overheal, and you're like, well, that just completely ruined my entire push plan here.
We're getting to see that the Reyna's POV down here in the bottom left corner, and as well as their, you know, clutch plays that they made right here, getting multiple shots in on that Sage. That was beautiful.
Yeah, just that one tap. Everyone was so weak. Just one tap with the Ghost. Find the headshot, pop the overheal, able to rush into sight with full health, and you've got just a huge advantage.
Unfortunately for the Hurricanes, though, that does mean that this is more of an econ round for buying for them, so they're going to be going in with semi-weaker guns. We do see Killjoy finding the early kill right there. There is no opportunity to bring that player back. After all, this is just the second round after the round swap, so the odds of the Sage having their ultimate ability up to res that player is very slim, unless they spent the majority of that first round literally running around the map just collecting orb ability, well, collecting the orbs.
Yeah, that would have been pretty crazy here. And yeah, that's kind of, it's unfortunate when it's early in the game. I do love seeing a Sky in these competitive games, because the Sky ability there that we just saw, you have been judged unworthy to continue the round by the judge. The Sky ability creates so many interesting opportunities for information, and I love being able to see that in competitive Valorant.
Right now, it's down to a 3v3. Honestly, I can't make a bet on who will come out more victorious here. We see the Sage wall come out, and instantaneously one of the pillars goes down. So that Sage knows that there's people ready to peek. They've got two teammates with them. One's looking the completely opposite direction, though, so they need to be careful. They're trying to use this wall. One player from each side goes down. Dot finds the connection out there on UNF Warriors, so there goes down that Reyna. And we've got the defuse coming out right now, once again from Bad Apple, and Sky for the Hurricanes unfortunately does go down to Viper.
Yeah, and Dot found 4 there. Big round from Dot Bot. Those were just good shots and a good play there all around. You know, the break into the site here was clinical. You know, getting that Sage wall taken care of early and just waiting to push. You've got the Sky and the Judge coming through on the side of the Sage, I believe it was. Or on the Viper, excuse me. Just being able to kind of push into the site and find the elims. That was just clinical. Unfortunately
for that Reyna, for the side of the Hurricanes, they were using their overheal. There is an option to cancel that animation, because while you're doing it, you are very vulnerable, and it was taken advantage of by that Viper. You got to keep in mind that when you hit that button, you got to remember who's around you, and if there's an opportunity for someone to kill you, they're going to take it.
Yeah, you got to get out of there. You got to be able to get around the wall and just finish it off. You know what? This is something that we don't see too often. These Viper abilities as well. Inferno's is, you know, using a different setup to meta, and here, the Marshall doing some work.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
was that
Frosty.
a Nosk? Oh my goodness! Oh.
Frosty coming in clutch for the side of the Infernos. Granted, yes, lots of people got value. There was people just existing. That's how you get value in this game also, in my opinion. They went down just their Reyna, but let's take a look at this replay right here. This is kind of dirty. That was what was happening. They used that Venom screen, and then we've got the peeking just straight down main with that Marshall and getting a double. That is insane, Frosty.
The double no-scope, and that one was from so far away. Oh my goodness, Frosty, relax. They have families, man.
For the record, that anyone is with anyone that is watching who's not super familiar with the realm of Valorant, no scoping with a sniper rifle is not easy in this game.
That was ridiculous, and with the Marshall as well. So not just the one shot with the op, but the Marshall.
That takes guts.
Sheesh.
Yo, we can't pause time.
Just kind of this slow push here. No one wants to invest anything.
Yeah,
Just playing smart over towards this A site. It's going to be another 4 or 5 minute invest. They've got him juked out. They've got 2 over on Sieve on the side of the Infernos. If you go now, you're going to have an opportunity to break in. No one really knows where it's going.
It looks like the Hurricanes are choosing to go and plant on C, and now we've got the Infernos finally cutting in, trying to find some value. We do see that Razkin pop their ult, but unfortunately will get taken out. Killjoy does have their ultimate online. They could choose to pop it right here. The spike has been planted, however. Yes, the Killjoy has been used, so now it is up to see if they can get anybody with that ultimate. And unfortunately, no players were detained.
You see, I don't think I've ever seen in competitive Valorant someone get detained by that, but I think that would be one of the sadder moments. Oh, good shots onto that Killjoy. That would be so sad to get detained in competitive Valorant.
I have yet to be detained, and I'm very proud of myself.
I think I did the very first day that Killjoy came out because I didn't know what was going on, and I forever had a vendetta against Killjoy.
That is fair.
What, is someone...
I think that Sage was AFK.
Oh my fucking
Yeah,
God.
Bro, okay.
Bad Apple, are you okay?
You have two choices.
Your team
Wait,
did
I
okay,
don't
but
remember.
are you okay?
Bad Apple does not seem
You
to
asking
be...
forfeit, or you asking just keep
Are they
on playing
memeing,
with
or are
Squad?
they actually AFK? That's the real question.
Their mom might have been
Alright,
asking them to go
alright,
take care of the laundry or
I'm
something.
just
Let's be
saying.
honest, this is, you know, not everyone is lucky enough to be living on their own now at this range. As we mentioned, Esports Tower is for high school students. But after that exciting semi-final, we have the Esports Tower Infernos, of course, will be moving up to our grand finale to face off the Esports Tower Riptide. So there goes our War of Seas. The Esports Tower Hurricanes did not make it easy for the side of the Infernos to get this far, and we would like to congratulate them on their third place finish in our first week of this event, and we're sure we'll be seeing them in the near future. And the Esports Tower Infernos are your victor. This was a best of one map, so that does make it a little bit more difficult, and they came out on top in this case.
Yeah, and they played really well there. Just a lot of good team pushing and just being smart and not letting themselves just get in situations where they can't win gunfights. That was just really intelligent play on the side of the Infernos.
Some good milk really had some clutch plays. Frosty as well with that Marshall. Insane plays. But, you know, Riley, going at it alone can only take you so far. As we discussed, the Infernos seem to have a leg up on everybody because ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We just saw that with the last play by the Esports Tower player, some good milk, because they were a quintessential player in that the Team Inferno's ability to complete that all the way and get that dub. If you want to see how talented they are and playing in their first Esports Tower Rumble, definitely keep watching. And if you yourself are interested in getting involved, Esports Tower really takes the time to create teams that are well matched and well rounded. And I'd like to give a shout out to the coaches. And if you are watching and haven't checked out the Esports Tower Club, you definitely should. It's the fast track to rank up.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what they can get these guys and girls to do. They make them just so good, and it's ridiculous to see people so young. But I mean, that is the way esports is going. It's a lot of youth, but seeing just this young talent just going out there and frying on the main stage, it's pretty sick to watch. I'm glad to be able to just see here and watch it myself.
Having a coach, having someone to guide you, to make your team coordinate is one of the huge factors, I feel like, to being able to actually find success in the realm of esports. And we definitely saw that with this first game. And that is going to be it for game one. We will not be returning to that round because we have more exciting matches coming up. And we hope to see you right after this next break.
News says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back, gamers, to this week's Esports Tower Valorant Rumble. We just saw the Infernos advance to the grand finals with a win over the Hurricanes in our semi-final match. The stage is set for our first grand final between the Infernos and the Riptides. All right, so Riley, we didn't get to see the Riptides play. We watched Infernos, though, and we kind of have an understanding with how they like to operate. Yes, pun intended. How do you feel like if the Team Riptide is looking to come out on top, what do you feel like they need to do in order to best the Infernos?
Well, I think they've already played them in the group stages, correct? And so they've got an idea of what's going on. They got to kind of sit back, regain after winning a couple big matches. Let them, I guess regain is probably not the right word, but I think that if they're able to just continue to communicate and move around the map in those groups like we've been seeing, that's been the key in these last couple of Rumbles is who moves together and who communicates well. I think if Riptide are able to do that, then I think they're gonna, be able to change the tide away from this team who just took the semifinal.
All right, Riptide, that is coming from the one, the only Riley Nappy Boyd. And before we kick off our exciting grand finale match, last week the ICCU Player of the Week in our first ever Esports Tower Valorant event, Citus, was able to speak to Doc Haskell earlier this week with her thoughts on the Esports Tower event. So let's check out how that went.
Well, hello there. I'm Doc Haskell. I am getting to chat with the one and only Cites, joining us right now here. And you've been doing amazing stuff in these Valorant Rumbles. And so really, I have to ask you, it looks like you are having so much fun. What are you loving about playing the game right now? Because it really shows.
I really love just like being able to, especially since I play Raze, just flying around and being able to frag out.
So is it different? So you've got your Esports, Tower Valorant teammates. When you play Raze with them, what do you get to do that you can't do in a standard ranked game?
In a standard ranked game, I would normally have to flex between like, oh, you might have to play control.
Last week, and now it's time for us to find out who.
The initiator or.
Oh, my apologies. Give us one moment. We will be returning to that interview in just a second.
My life right now is stuck. So when you're playing with your Valorant, your Esports Tower Valorant teammates, it's a lot more fun. You get to really play Raze the way you want. What are those games like for you? I mean, we see some, but describe it a little bit.
I don't really know. It's fun to know that like I play at a lower rank than my teammates, so I guess it's just funner to have that challenge and still be able to frag out even though I'm low rank, but I'm playing at a Diamond Immortal Elo.
What do your good teammates do that randos in rank don't?
Communicating, actually. Communication is really hard, but that's also hard for me because I cannot communicate in my random games because being a female, it's either your games are being thrown or it's just they don't want to listen to you.
Right. I've encouraged folks to do this a lot, that if you're playing a ranked game, you're still muted, but you're still communicating the way that you would. You're making call outs, you're calling, cooldowns or ability use, right? You're doing some of those kinds of things, even though no one can hear you except you. It's just good practice. So as you've been playing with your Rumble teammates, talk about what that communication allows you to do that you can't normally do.
It gives us information of like things that I didn't know that like Game Sense won't tell me. It's just like, oh, this person's lit this much, or all those callouts, like where they are or where they might be, things I might not notice. And
having those, it's a lot more fun, right?
Yeah.
The game is just crazy more fun. Well, you're playing great. Now, what's cool about this is that it really does give you an opportunity to start thinking about, ooh, I could maybe play this game in college. Have you been thinking about that at all? I mean, not that I'm putting on my recruiting hat here. That'll come later. But yeah, have you been thinking about college?
I do plan on playing collegiate at a collegiate level, but it it's just like my issue is like the rank elo, and they look at the badge, so I'm hoping that the colleges I see will see a demo reel and not my badge.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I mean, ranked, as we discussed before, is kind of it's a very specific thing that you do. It's almost in some ways not the same game, right? It does give you a chance to practice against high level people, people who are just unlocked, but it doesn't necessarily indicate your skill as a teammate, especially. So, what are you looking for in a school? Again, not putting on my recruiting hat at this point, but I may take some notes, so forgive me.
You're good. In a school, if we're looking at study side, I would like a school that has animation or game development with the art aspect, because I love art, and that's a lot. And plus, like, just a friendly community for the esports community.
Well, you're in luck. There are a lot of good places like that have good game design programs. I mean, I can think of a ton of them right now. I won't mention all of them, but UCI, I think of Utah, I think of as a game design program. They do a lot of stuff with EAE. Washington, another place that now they don't have a varsity program, but as you're looking at these schools, are there any schools that kind of pop out and go, ooh, I might want to have a conversation with them?
Currently, I've been looking into like in-state since I live in Texas. I've been trying to aim for UT Austin or UT Dallas, but I haven't fully looked into Boise State, but I might make it into a consideration. Full Sail is a consideration too.
Yes. Yeah, Full Sail and you just mentioned a bunch of great institutions. I can't complain at all. UT Dallas we know very, very well, and Greg Adler, who's the director there, is amazing. Everything he does turns to gold. It's pretty cool. But the good news is that you're in a time and a space where being good at this game, taking these games seriously, can turn into scholarships, can turn into college programs, and that the things that you love and the things you want to do and do more of kind of exist in the same space. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, so what's your hope for this Rumble?
For this Rumble, I actually don't know, but just like having fun, creating a bigger, or not bigger, but a better communication within my team.
Awesome, and it only gets better the more you do it with good people. So thank you so much for spending a couple minutes with us, and we're just going to be excited to see what you do. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Did an incredible job last week, and as I mentioned, was our ICCU player of the game. Citus, my heart personally goes out to you. I definitely understand the gender kind of imbalances that you experience in competitive play, and if you're interested in looking at some other programs, I highly suggest checking out GIM here at Boise State. Not trying to insinuate anything, but that is the degree program I myself pursued. It is game development, animation, and a lot of other things that you touched on that I feel like you might enjoy. So definitely, if you have time, check that one out. Now it is time for us to find out who is going to be our first ever Esports Tower Valorant Championship, as we have our first ever Game 1 of our finale series for the Esports Tower Valorant Rumble.
I just want to say real quick, I have a hard time believing that she's not Immortal or Diamond.
Ranked is a different type of game.
Nasty though.
Ranked is a whole thing.
She was crazy. She was so good, and also I love the vibe lights in the room. Those were super cool and something that I aspire to have in my gaming setup. So respect. Our
grand finale Game 1 is going to be the Esports Tower Riptides versus the Esports Tower Infernos on the map Ascent. Setting the stage for our grand finales tonight, we have, as I mentioned, the Riptides and the Infernos, and we're going to be expecting a very exciting game for both of these two teams. After both teams showed great dominance throughout the entirety of the group stage, we did get to see how the Infernos dominated in that last game. However, the Riptides are kind of a surprise for us, and I'm very excited to see what they have coming up.
Yeah, and once again, we see the Riptides with that Sky in the lineup. They don't have the Viper like we saw out of the Hurricanes, so a little bit more traditional. The Sky is becoming a little bit more meta, which is fun to watch. So the composition of these two teams, obviously you've got the Viper on the side of the Infernos as well. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how these compositions work out. It's changed so much over the last couple of months that it's kind of fun.
We do see that for the side of the Riptides, they have that Phoenix and Sage. So Phoenix has a bit of self-healing, as does the Reyna, so does Sage. So that's a lot of sustain that you can pull out if you're looking for that slow play, as well as kind of the rush it down one area and then heal up if you unfortunately do go down a lot of health. But the ability to stay alive is very high for the team of the Riptides, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and you see here another good 5-hit coming through. That stun does come out, and that was important there to get those opening elims, and Cozy finds one on site as well. So all of a sudden, this is a quick developing round.
Yeah, you only have your Reyna left remaining for the Riptides right now, and Killjoy gets the ace, taking out some good milk. So it looks like Cozy is going to be, looking for that key player and making sure they are not getting value. That is something that, is kind of that upper echelon level of gameplay, is identifying who's the carry and making sure they can't do their job of carrying.
Yeah, and that was really impressive. I think Cozy has thrown a target on the back there early. That's going to make it a little bit difficult to try and get another ace. I think everyone's going to be gunning for them early on.
We do see right now that it looks like most of the Riptide team is rotating towards B, whereas the Infernos are very spread out once again. Oh, my apologies, the names are flipped. So that is the Infernos are all rotating towards B, while the Riptide is very much so spread out. Once again, the walls have not dropped. Well, the walls have dropped. People are yet to start really moving for the side of the Riptide, whereas the Infernos are sneakily walking around and getting in position to make a push, looks like all the way to A, as they identified the lack of presence over there.
Yeah, and you see it looks like the Viper's just kind of hanging out, waiting in guard and seeing if anyone wants to push, and they may get some more info than they want here in a second, because it looks like this is going to be a nice little mid-push. Could be going through up into that garden area if they're not careful, but 3 quick limbs there.
We do see Frosty, who's swapped over from that Killjoy onto the Phoenix, did take out the other, I believe their name was Phobix, not Phoenix, but they took out the Viper on the other side, and we did see Jet take out Sky. And with that, there is now just 3 players remaining for the side of the Infernos, and that is the end of the round.
Yeah, it went pretty quickly there, and tried to make a good play from the Phoenix. Just didn't quite work out for him, but unfortunately, that was another good round win.
We've got Brimstone with the spike over here. It looks like the rotations, oh, you always got to change those game senses and your input controls. Got to tweak them. Not always perfect. Maybe they swap systems. Maybe they're like one of our players last week for Rocket League who was stuck playing on a toaster. Nobody knows, but relatable. Proud of you for making sure everything is up and ready and where you want it to be during the buying phase, during the time at which you can be a little bit AFK. Hopefully you do have time, though, to get your loadout all picked out and ready to go, unless you're not planning on doing anything this round and just going at with a pistol. Yeah,
and it looks like, once again, another 5 push here onto this site. So once again, everybody's just running together here. It looks like it's just the Infernos here.
Once again, yeah, as you mentioned, that the 5 push, but the spread out that we see coming from the other side, I feel like that is detrimental. I understand wanting to get as much information around the map as quickly as possible, identify where the enemy team is at, and identify where they're going to be pushing, but when everybody is by themselves, which is basically what we see happening here, that can be a recipe for disaster, because that first person that peeks to find out where that whole 5 stack is staying, they're gonna go down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, for the 5 stack there, they didn't find anything, so now they got to kind of wrap this back, and I think this is actually the Infernos that have to just try and, or it is the Infernos, excuse me, yeah, they have to wrap this back around to the other site because they didn't get any information there.
It does look like we've got the Reyna still kind of dragging behind for the side of the Infernos. 2 of the members of the Riptides are spread out, however, away from the rest of the group. Killjoy is waiting over by that B entrance, and they're backtracking now. They definitely know they've been spotted, and that group of 5 is coming in, and it looks like Brimstone's going to manage to pick up Cozy, unfortunately, so there goes kind of that binding force from that last round for the side of the Riptides, but that's okay. We do see Viper right now on the jet trying to get some information. They've sent out that cloud trying to blind some people. Unfortunately, though, Phoenix will ultimately take out a good milk, and JJ will take out Viper.
Yep, now you're just kind of sitting in the site waiting to defend. The wallbangs are going to be trying to come through desperately for the Riptide, seeing if they can't find something. But Spike's down. They're just waiting in the back here. You see Skies looks like she's getting ready for a blind. So it's going to be who can break into this site. You know, you don't have to be crazy aggressive here if you are on the side of the Infernos.
And we do see that they managed to take out a couple members, but the attackers end up winning that round.
Yep, no reason, like I said, no reason to be aggressive. You got the spike down, just kind of hanging out, making sure no one can push into the site. Playing backside really well. You know, everyone's going to look there, but you're in such a power position because there's so many different, you could peek it wide, you could peek it, you know, narrow, you know, and there's a couple different ways that you can see it, or you might not even be in backside. You know, they just played that site in general really well, not letting the Riptide get in there.
I'm not going to lie, in particular, playing Sage on this map, I love that plant point because literally you wall off one of the entrances. You have someone, preferably one of my friends is always playing Jet, so they take up on one of the high grounds, and you just sit there and wait for the enemy team, the defenders, to try and walk in and defuse. This entire site over here that we're looking at is by far my favorite and easiest to defend in my opinion, but I could be totally wrong and I could have just gotten completely lucky all those times, but I feel like it is pretty standard to want to push on to B.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard push, and you see here the Infernos, they're just forcing it down this site. This is obviously where they want to go. Another 5-stack through hall here, and the trade's kind of coming through early, but it'll be interesting. They do have, it looks like they already have an ult online, and they're up and up as well. So be interested to see if they just keep trying to force it through. But the Odin coming out on the side of the Riptide, very nice, very nice.
Taking things slow, unfortunately, JJ will go down. It is now a 3v3. The spike carrier has not been killed. Thankfully, that Sage is doing a very nice job of keeping themselves alive and getting value. We do see, however, Brimstone for the side of the Riptides is very low, and they're basically in one-shot kill territory. And as I say that, Frosty finds that one shot and takes them out. We see the blind come out, and it looks like Phoenix is going to be a little bit low. I do not believe Sage has their heal up. Killjoy is also very low for the side of the Riptides right now. It is a 2v3, and I do feel like the attackers have the advantage right now.
Yeah, but there's the big shots, and that's the thing. That's why these rifles are such levelers, because there's two. Right? I mean, it was easy to find 2 kills because it's all headshots, and it's just down to this 1v1 Frosty and DJ.
I think, yeah, so the defenders won. Ultimately, the Sage was taken out very close to the end of that timer dropping, and trying to grab that spike and plant it with under 10 seconds is borderline impossible to do. And so now we are back to the buy phase. I think for the side of the Riptides, they're going to want to be going for more of an econ buy. They do have 2 ultimates online, however. What do you feel like, Riley?
I think at this point now, it's going to be interesting to see how they want to continue to play spread. You know, they're letting the Infernos just kind of do their thing. They're letting the Infernos be aggressive, obviously, because they're defending, and they seem to be just playing this really intelligently here. You know, you see they're going to get some info. There's the Vandal coming out on this side. I think if you're the Riptides, you might want to just kind of put your foot on the gas.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of information that I've been withholding here for a little bit. The Infernos are kind of looking for their redemption/revenge here in this round, because they actually ended up losing to the Riptides throughout the course of our group stage. So this is their opportunity to say, nuh-uh, you are not the best. We are just as good as you. And of course, all of y'all are amazing players. And honestly, with more time, all of you are going to be at the same skill level. But the Infernos definitely, I feel like, have a vendetta right now against the Riptides.
Yeah, and I think the Riptides know that, and they know that there's going to be some aggression coming through, and they're doing a really good job of just not playing into that hand. You see great more shots coming through from that Viper. That's 3 in the round, looking for the 4th as well. Just so slow on the plays, letting the Infernos just come to them, just letting them come right into the trap, you know?
We do see Bad Apple trying to run away from that Viper after getting the sights out onto them. Unfortunately, Bad Apple, I do not think you're going to survive this one. And with that, the defenders do end up on top with Phobix, I think, getting 3 kills that round.
I think Phobix actually finished with a 4 there, and just as I was praising them about not being aggressive, Phobix decided to push for that last kill.
Sometimes you just gotta go aggressive.
Well, and it worked out, and it was good shots, you know, kind of they were able to get back around the wall and re-peek, you know, reassess and re-peek, the crouch shots coming through, and finding the elim. Yeah, the Riptides are, once again, I mean, foot on the gas pedal. That's my thing for these guys, and they are showing it.
They are spread out once again to try and get that information about where the side of the Infernos are going to be pushing. Thankfully, I do not see anyone with an operator or any sniper rifles, although this would have been the time to start seeing them come out. Frosty did get that first initial pick out onto the Viper there, so both teams are now equal with the player playing Jet named Viper taking out the Sky for the other team. So with that ultimate from Killjoy from Riptide, I don't feel like that's going to be the opportunity for them to equal the playing field or come out a little bit higher here, but playing slow for the defending team is ultimately going to be what's going to bring them victory. They just really need to keep an eye out for these rotations from the Infernos right now, because we see them rotating and we see the Riptides going the opposite direction.
Yeah, and you see some info trying to come out there, maybe from Sova, looking to see if they can find something. There was a nice elim there from the side of the Infernos with the Phoenix, and the stun's going to come out from JJ as well, just trying to get those, go through those walls. The Sage wall coming up too to get some more info, but yeah, there's DJ getting the arrow onto site. They've got the info now that they need. Nice little flash from the Phoenix, though. They know someone's up in top heaven. It's going to be a matter of who peaks first and who wins those gunfights.
That Jet for the side of the Riptides is very low right now. They do not have someone that can help them out. Unfortunately, this is a 4v2, not in favor of the Riptides. However, you can't always clutch it, so I can't make any claims just yet.
And
Killjoy used their ult and detained 4. Holy crud sticks. That's crazy, Cozy.
yeah, and that was just such a smart play there, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out because
that's unfortunate.
oh, it sounds like some game comms
We did
coming
get
through
to
there.
hear some game comms with no one being aggressive to one another, just the casual. That's unfortunate. Things do happen, and it's a game at the end of the day. You can't always predict how it's going to go. Not everything's perfect. You are all humans at the end of the day.
Yeah, one of my favorite phrases that I've picked up from one of our Valorant players here at Boise State, from legit Soja, he did teach me in that situation just to say unlucky. So that was truly unlucky.
All right, so right now I'm specifically looking at the Infernos. We've got Sage and Phoenix, and I believe that's Sky, all have their ultimates ready to go. It is 4v2 right now. Of course, Sky just has that res, but it can be useful. However, Sky, do you feel like that ultimate could be a round winner?
The info that it can give you, yeah, I think so. Not directly, but I do think so. It can be. See, Sky found another one there. Nice little trades. DJ found one, and Sky found another. But yeah, I do think the info can change around.
We've got Brimstone for the side of the Infernos looking very low right now. I do not that Sage is going to get that healing orb out onto them. For the side of the Riptides, everyone's looking okay. Viper's taken a slight amount of damage. Granted, that's probably been communicated, so they're kind of the next target if anyone finds them. The spike has yet to be planted, but we do see them all rotating right now as a group completely to B, as the Riptide are all spread out. 2 of them are still over by A, one's at mid, and one is at B. That one chilling out at B, unfortunately, I feel like is not going to be living much longer.
Yeah, it's all going to be about the comms. Can you let them know that they're coming through? And Cozy's just going to be here on site, just waiting to see who pushes. So with it being Cozy, and we've seen some of the ridiculous plays coming through, you never know what can happen. Those Vandal shots, the Phantom shots coming through, they couldn't find anything, but they got the info there on the player coming down to try and plant default. It's a nice blind coming through, and everybody's just trying to stay alive there. And there's 2 big elims on the side of the Infernos, 3 now.
Unfortunately for the Riptides, they only have Brimstone remaining with 4 seconds left. Brimstone does manage to take out Frosty, but ultimately the attackers will get that final kill, and without even planting that spike, win the round out. It is still 4v3 though, so very equal. It's anybody's game, and we're looking at this next round. It looks like Reyna's going to be the one in charge of planting that spike, unless they choose to drop it and be like, Sage, you do it, because Sage has ultimately had that spike planting job for the last couple of rounds. And we also see for the side of the Riptides, Viper has that ultimate ready to go, and no one else does.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. If you're the Riptides, you did give up that round, but that's one that you're okay with giving up because you still have decent econ, and you saw a Sky, a Phoenix, and a Sage all invest ults for 1 round win. So if you're Riptide, you're thinking, all right, yeah, we did lose the round, but we cleared the ults off the board, and we've got now our Viper, which that's super annoying, like big Viper cloud that she can do.
I have seen that cloud legitimately used just to allow cover for the plant and or the defuse, because no one wants to go in that bubble of pain, let's be honest.
No.
However, the one thing that I'm a little confused about is that the Riptides, yes, this is an econ round, but all of them are choosing to stick with the pistols. Do you think that's smart?
I think just, save the econ. No reason to get too aggressive, This is one of those ones where you lost the last round. If you lose another one, you get your econ right back. So there isn't to do anything. And every time that you find a pick, you do get to pick up a gun. So if you're the Riptides, just play this slow, play this smart. No reason to push anything, no reason to challenge anything crazy. Just do your thing, and you never know what'll happen. Good shots.
Yeah, Sky's going to manage to pick up a couple. Man, that was so close. JJ's going to get a double right there. It is now a 2v2. Vipers looking dangerously low on that health right now. They still have their ultimate, and did they just pop it?
Yep.
Yeah, they just popped that ultimate. It's still a 2v2. However, the Empress is online for the Reyna, and Brimstone has their ultimate as well. They're going in. They're going for that. It looks like they're going for the defuse, but they're waiting to see if anyone's going to try and come tickle them a little bit, because they are very low on health, so they need to be careful.
Well, and I'm wrong. They didn't pop their ult there. It looks like they still saved it and just did a good job. You couldn't really do anything about that spike being down there on the side of Riptide. They didn't have the guns to really do much, and that stun came through right as the defuse. They knew they were right on it, and that was a great play from the Brim just to kind of sit there, let that stun go right on the spike, get the info. The spike was most likely pinged from the side of the Inferno, so everyone knew exactly where to shoot. There was really no chance to win that round. You almost played it well there, Viper, but unfortunately, just the stun kind of threw you off, I think.
I don't like stuns in this game, if I'm being honest, especially because you can I don't like flashes in this game, because I cannot tell you how many times my own teammate has flashed me.
I mean, yeah, that is true. It's very frustrating, but it is such a game changer, just seeing the ability that these people have. And it looks like Brim's already super weak. There goes the Molly coming out and another flash. But yeah, flashes can completely change a game.
We do see Cozy is going to manage to find Mischief and take them out. So down goes the Spike Carrier. Sage ends up picking up for the side of the Infernos. We do have Sova with their ultimate ready to go. Reyna on the other side has their ult as well. Some good milk finding that connecting kill on Sky, as well as the Viper for the side of the Riptides is unfortunate. It is now a 4v2. And just like that, Some Good Milk is getting taken out by DTJ.
Yeah, it looks like Some Good Milk did invest their ult there. Empress did come out, and it didn't really... you found one, but it didn't quite do what you needed it to do now. And now Cozy's trying to find wallbangs onto default there, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. So it's going to be a case of can you just hold the site? Gets down to this 1v1 and the stuns versus Killjoy.
Come on, Killjoy. And Killjoy finds that final kill and unfortunately does not have enough time to get the defuse.
It's a great play from Brim. Great play from Brim, just knowing that, play it long enough, dance around and back sight. No one's going to be able to get that defuse if you do it well, and that was a great play.
We do see Cozy, I believe, is sticking with that Spectre for this round. And no one's going to go with the egotistical, I'm going to sniper rifle down one of these long sight lines and take somebody out, at least for the side of the Riptides. Couldn't quite get a good view of the Infernos right there. And we get a nice little look here at, it looks like a gelato shop.
And to be honest with you, I don't know if anyone has the econ to buy an op. I mean, it's been pretty back and forth. Nobody's really dominated. At one point, the Riptide were up nice in rounds, but they've lost a couple there. So I don't think there's the eco available for an op right now.
I'm going to hedge my bet and say that you are right, because you are my source of main knowledge right now, because I am such an amateur at this game. We do see, however, for the side of the Riptides right now, both Sovo and Killjoy have their ultimates ready to go. And we've got Jet right now just choosing to go with that pistol. Unfortunately, Frosty's going to ultimately be able to take them out. That firing rate plus the recoil on that one in particular, I believe it's called the Sheriff, it makes me feel like I'm McCree, is very painful when you're in close range combat, in my opinion, and it's very difficult to win that 1v1. Unfortunately, we have now gone down to a 3v5 in favor of the Infernos right now, as they're pushing onto Site B, it looks like. And I think they're going to be able to pick up that kill on the Sovo very quickly.
Yeah, and it looks like they've done a good just a wrap through the back there. Sova's kind of put in a bad spot, just trying to get away. Use that lunge with the knife to just try and get out of the slow there. Just that's a way to use a mechanic in the game that's just a little bit broken. Just be smart with it, and now you're down to a 2v5 at this point. The spike is going to go down, so a 2v5 retake, I mean, that's just kind of GG's.
I honestly, at this point, if I have a gun I want to keep, though, however, for the side of the Riptide, I do not believe that they had any weapons that they wanted to keep. I would just run away and try to stay alive.
Yeah, I agree. And shout out to the Inferno. That's 5 in a row for them now. Now the eco starts to come out where, okay, is an operator maybe coming onto the map? You know, we've seen, what, 4 or 5 rounds in a row. This isn't a map that, I mean, the angles aren't quite as long. There's the obvious, you know, heaven into the hallway there over on the A site, but it's going to be interesting to see if anyone even elects to go with the op, if they just want to stay with the big boy rifles.
We do see right now, it looks like the Infernos once again are looking for that push onto B. They got to do it quickly as the Riptide are very spread out once again to collect as much information as possible during this first push. And if they can manage to get in quickly, pick up that 1 kill of the person who's defending B, dodge the sight lines of the Viper who's looking down from the side right there, they have the opportunity to get the plant off and have the man number advantage. There is no resurrect available for the Infernos, so they are down 1 already. The Riptide is just now playing it. It looks like they're going to be playing for that slow play and trying to make sure the Infernos can't get this plant.
Yeah, and the kind of unfortunate thing is right now, you know, you're grouped up for the Infernos, but that's a little bit scary. You know, Sova has that Hunter's Fury ready to roll, and if Hunter's Fury decides to get popped, and that comes right through the middle of the map right onto you, that can go very poorly. And good 2 elims there on the side of the Riptide to bring this down to a 5v1.
Yeah, unfortunately right there, Phobix is going to find Bad Apple, and then Frosty's going to find Viper, so it's a 4v1. Phoenix is the last one standing. They're trying to get at least 1 extra kill, but Cozy ultimately is going to find them first, and the defenders managed to win out that round, bringing us to a 5-6 score.
Yeah, and you know, everyone kind of goes down there and you get your pick of the skins there, and when it comes to those Phantoms and Vandals, everyone kind of has what they like to run. You know, they can choose the cool skin, and that was really clinical. That round kind of started off a little slow, and then it was just bang, 1, 2, 3, right down, big elims, bring it down to a 5v2. That was just a really way to pick and choose your moments there, Riptide.
As someone who has just recently started to engage their contracts with their operators, I don't have a lot of those pretty skins, so my favorite thing to do is when I went out around and there's a lot of bodies around me, is find the prettiest one and hang on to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen, you know, you see people just try and beg their teammates to buy another one so they can have the cool one, and it looks like the op is on the map now.
Yes, we do have 1 player with that operator, and the door is going to be dropped and instantly destroyed by the same person. That's not something I've seen very often. I guess it might be a strategy to try and pull some attention to where you're at. We do see Soapman right now on that brim sending out prepping to send out a couple of flashes. While all of the members of the Inferno, I believe, are standing. Yes, all of them are stacked right there in mid. And Sova still has that ultimate. I don't think they're tracking those ults too well, because that is a deadly situation to be in, at least in my opinion.
But there's this guy coming through and finding one there with the classic call out of blinded. So very, very frustrating when that hits you. You know, you're stuck in a bad spot there. A couple quick elims come through, and yeah, they were stacked, and it didn't quite go their way. Sova still hasn't popped that ult. There's no reason to right now. It's just Phoenix left, and here comes the info coming through, and the Killjoy's popped. It's kind of that's a frustrating situation once again. The Riptide's just playing these rounds really smart. They went down, and now they're just trying to get the defuse off. Good Sage wall, though.
That was very dirty, Sage. I might use that technique if I feel like it's going to be a hard-pressed round for my team to win. Just wall the spike.
Yeah, you kind of know what's going to go through there in the future, and now it looks like we did go ahead and hit halftime there. So the Hunter's Fury never got invested on the side of the Sova there. We were talking about it for so long, about how many opportunities there were to find one, and just never got invested for the info.
I have been told that trigger discipline is very important in this game. However, when you are right before the half, don't be so hesitant to pop that ult, because it goes away anyway. Just use it.
It's true. It's true. It's like in basketball, you got your use it or lose it timeouts there, and they did not use it. They lost it, unfortunately.
Looking right now, the Riptide is now going to be going for the planting of that spike. We've got Viper hanging onto it. but they're sticking with that strategy of staying spread out. So maybe they're trying to identify, because the Infernos have notoriously been sticking together and kind of grouping up in one spot, figuring out where they're choosing to defend and then just rotating the heck away and going to the next spot. But we'll have to see. They are kind of, it looks like, looking to pinch off the side of the Infernos, and hopefully that works in their favor. Of course, this is the pistol round, so it's kind of still anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, I gotta love these pistol rounds. The classic shots coming through there early. The Viper screen coming up to try and create some sort of distraction, and you're down to a 4v3 now. So Riptide's looking to take, I think, another pistol round. I think they won the first one as well.
The plant did come out. No one is moving for the side of the Riptides. They're just hanging out over here waiting. Unfortunately for the Infernos, they lose 2 right there, and Sky will be the last one to go down, and the attackers will win that round with just a couple seconds remaining.
Yeah, they played that really smart. You know, they're taking advantage of these pistol rounds. I think sometimes the general vibe is those pistol rounds almost feel like throwaways, just because it's, you know, everyone's just kind of with the pistol and you're just trolling, especially when it's, you know, round 1 of a game or just after the half and it's a close game or whatever. It feels almost like a round 1 type situation again, and taking advantage of those pistol rounds is just so important.
Well, both these teams are, you know, so close and evenly matched right now. It's because they're gunning for that title of the first ever Valorant Rumble Championship, and the bar will be set high for the rest of the season. However, even though it's high, it's just going to keep getting higher because they're going to have more time to play together, more time with their coaches, and more time for VOD review. And if this is the, quote, high bar that we have set right now, I will not be able to reach the next one that they set.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. Oh, there you go. The shoulder. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Yeah, you're right. These guys are playing at such a high level right now, these guys and gals, and they're just they're doing some good work. So it'll be interesting to see as they continue to progress how these strats vary.
We've got Brimstone choosing to rotate long B. It looks like someone's following up behind them. I can't exactly see who it is. While 2 are going down mid to try and gather some information. I do think this Riptide are going to favor planting on A, trying to maybe take some of the attention away from the enemy team, but we'll have to see how this goes as we do see the Cloudburst come out, and Viper's gonna get that ace on Sky. That has to feel good.
Yeah, you saw him keep coming through in the kill feed. It was like, all right, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and it's at that point you're telling your teammates, I swear, if any of you even shoot at them, I will never speak to you again. Give me the ace on the main stage.
That explains so much why I always hear people screaming at me, let me get the ace, and then I'm just like standing there like already stabbing this person, and I'm like, I'm sorry, whoops. I was killing them right as you said that.
My bad. Yeah, that's brutal. That's one of the worst feelings in Valorant, I think, when you've got an ace. Not that I've actually had too many of those in my time, but when you do have the ace opportunity and you lose it on the 5th, it's like, oh, this is the worst.
It's okay, it happens. We see Viper pop 2 abilities right there to take the high ground. I love that type of combination, getting above people. Like I said, no one anticipates the death from above. We do have the sight coming out right there from the Reyna to try and, you know, shorten everybody's line of sight, and it was destroyed very quickly. We've got Cozy getting that plant out onto site A right now. The Viper Cloud is out as well. The spike has been planted. It is now a 4v5. However, as Bad Apple managed to find Phobix very quickly and take them out just before they started pushing in right here.
And it's tough because it's like, even though it's a 4v5 now down to a 3v4, it's like, when you're defending, you've got a pretty good idea of where everything is, and that was unfortunate timing on the side of Phoenix. But I'll tell you what, Inferno's doing a really good job of getting this down into that tight situation, and it's brim on brim right there. That was a really nice retake there on the side of the Infernos.
Yep, and there's that defuse coming out from the Sage, and the defenders will win that round. It is 8v6, still very close. Anybody's game, in my opinion. I would love to see an overtime, but regardless of who wins out this map, unlike our other rounds, the championship round is a best of 3 maps, so both teams will still have equal opportunity to lay their claim on that championship title.
Yeah, and I do think that it is so important to win this first map. I mean, I know you can still come back, but I think it's so important to win this first map. These teams are both so good, and momentum and confidence is going to be critical going through this final. So this first map, I think, really does show just how important it is to win that.
We do see the slow and the wall were both popped by the Sage over here from Bad Apple to try and help defend this spot B. However, they were used rather quickly in succession, have already gone down. That you can see that pillar has been destroyed. They don't take a lot of damage, but it does reveal how many people are there, so you got to be careful how many people are shooting at that wall.
Yeah, and when you kind of know that Sage wall can provide almost like secondary information, like you said, you can kind of figure out how many people are there, and so used correctly, the wall off hall there just kind of makes it all the more difficult to push in there without giving away who's actually there.
We do see Riptide is managing to get the plant. Killjoy, Cozy is right there. They got the plant off. They're trying now to defend it. The Killjoy has deployed their ultimate. Let's see if they manage to capture anybody and win out the round, because that's what I like to see. I personally am never good at using that ult, but if you are, you go for it.
Yeah, big 5-head play there, get the plant down, then pop the Killjoy. Don't let anyone push in. Just slow everything up so you don't have to worry about people just flying into sight as soon as you get it down. Give yourself a chance to set up. They did really well there, using that Killjoy to their advantage, and to a 4v4 retake now.
Yeah, Phobix did find that connecting shot on the Sage. Soapman is going to take out Sky, and Cozy's going to take out some good milk. So now it's a 3v2 right now. The Infernos with 2 players standing. JJ's starting to get that defuse out. They did take a couple of shots on them, however, and ultimately the spike will detonate before they're able to touch it.
Yeah, and there's the intelligence of Killjoy, just playing that to be slower. Cozy did a great job of understanding that as soon as it goes down, get that Killjoy down. Don't let anybody push into that. And you saw how far it backed him up there. I mean, they planted it like right on spike, so you saw just how far they had to back up. 3 of them were grouped together, and they all ended up having to push together instead of those kind of spread pushes that can be so deadly if you find a pick and you get the info.
We've got Sova this round for the Riptides choosing to grab that spike. We also have Jet with that ultimate. As an initiator, I feel like if they manage to get a couple players in their sights from the side of the Infernos, pop that ultimate, take out 1, take out maybe 2, you'll get the opportunity for your Sova to plant that spike. It looks like they're, again, choosing to go with that spot A. I personally do not like it because Heaven is deadly, because I play against a lot of people that like sniper rifles. We do see a double coming out. Not a double entirely, but 2 players will be taking out 2 from the side of Inferno, leaving us with a 5v3. Sage does not have that res ability ready yet, so the plant's going to go off and no one's going to come up for the side of the Infernos as Bad Apple takes out Phobix. And so it's down to a 4v3. It could be evened out more. We have Sky taking out Viper. It's a 2v3. Still anybody's round, but the spike is planted, and so the clock is ticking.
Yeah, and at this point now, once again, it's all just playing your angles. Big shots there. The trade's coming through, and I love that final death emote. That was very nice.
The wings are really cool.
Yeah, those are cool. Those are cool. And another thrifty coming through.
Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah, it is. You don't like to see that coming through when you lose that round. And yeah, these 2 teams are just trading rounds back and forth, back and forth. Love that. We love to see teams just playing this even. We don't. It's no fun when somebody just flies away from the other team. So the Inferno's looking for, like you said, that revenge. Just doing a really good job of just keeping themselves in it. And also, shout out to our recorders, because they're getting some pretty sick angles with this free cam.
I appreciate the angles because I'm able to see what weapons are being picked, so I can kind of pseudo-determine whether or not we're going to see some ego peaks happening early on. Looking at the economy of ultimates for both sides, Sky has chosen to pop their ult right here, trying to get that high ground and take out someone. They did manage at least to see where people were at, get some info for their team and themselves. The Sky wall, the Sage wall is up, but it's not perfect, as it does allow first people to get through that tiny crack. There still is the Empress and Resurrect, however, available for the side of the Infernos.
Well, and even though there might be a little bit of an opportunity to get through that tiny crack, what it's done there is just kind of limit the angles that the peaks can come through. And you see there's the Molly coming through. I believe that's a Phoenix Molly, and actually it's probably a Brim. But not being able to, or being able to lock down the angles that people can peek from is just so important, because it's literally just you're sitting there pre-aiming one angle and you know exactly where they're coming from.
And we do see that, unfortunately, Some Good Milk went low, was healed up, and then ultimately Mischief was able to take them out, followed by taking out the Sova. It is now with 3v4. Sage still has their ult ability ready. Brimstone has that ult, as does Phoenix. We see the blind come out. The spike is planted. The clock is ticking. It's now a 2v2 as Cozy evens out that score. They are a beast right now on this Killjoy. They are just straight animal.
Yeah, and the alarm bot placement there in window, not letting anybody just kind of run through garden. They're looking to rotate into site. There's a res coming through for Sage, and the Phoenix as well with the run it back getting popped there. Infernos are investing a lot into this round. They need to find a way to win it here, and it's just Brim on this defense with just the Sheriff, or the Classic, excuse me. Oof, that's tough. You'd never like to be just running around with a Classic trying to 1v3 this late into a game.
I'm going to agree with you, even though I'm always running around with just the Ghost and heavy armor by this round of the game and killing people, and people yell at me, and that makes sense now.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, we're 6 rounds into the half now, and at this point, and if you're pistol whipping people with it, then respect.
I am. It's my search and destroy strat.
keep doing you. Keep doing you. I don't think anyone can have any complaints if you're finding elims with it, but you know, when you're in a 1v3 there at the end, you know, you want to be able to have something that you can get those one taps with, because
that's when you go pick up a teammate's gun because they died with a gun.
Well, yeah, but when they don't have it, that's the feels bad. That's the feels bad, is not being able to pick one up, I guess. I should have been clear. That's my bad.
We did see right here Viper proccing that sound on the ability orb right there to try and goad out some people. Unfortunately, didn't work in their favor as Mischief was able to just connect those bullets with their head very quickly. The Empress for the side of the Infernos is still online, and we do see that Sova still has their ultimate, as does that Viper for the Riptide. Brimstone has the spike right now. They are only down 1. They've got a minute left before they need to get that plant off or they lose. It's still anybody's game. However, they are very slowly all conjugating over towards A, and I feel like that's very risky, especially because for the side of the Riptide, they're spread out. They're ready for these slow pushes to happen from multiple angles.
Yeah, and you saw that Viper Cloud come out there. The DK obviously is so frustrating to go into, so you don't want to peek it. That was a great play. Cozy wrapping around the back, got that Phantom. Another alarm bot's gonna be coming out.
Oh,
so,
there's the
Killjoy. That's the Killjoy now. That's the Killjoy. Excuse me. I didn't realize that they were on ult. That must have got him right to it. I thought that was just an alarm bot. So you kind of got the Viper Cloud plus the Killjoy just keeping you off the spike. This is a tough comeback for the Infernos.
Yeah, the Empress, I do believe, yes, Empress has been popped for that Reyna. Now they're going to be going in and looking for the kills. Unfortunately, I feel like it's going to go off before anything is able to be done, and it does. The attackers went out that round, bringing us to a 10v9 in favor of the Riptides right here. We've got 2 ultimates, 1 for each side. I feel like it's pretty even. They just need to rotate a little bit smarter for the side of the Infernos and get that information faster.
Yeah, and it's interesting because both of these ults that are up online are both ults that we would normally see to try and stop a defuse coming through. You know, Sova just kind of popping that Hunter's Fury and throwing it over the spike, and same with Brimstone, you know, able to just kind of throw it on default. It's going to be interesting to see. Infernos are going to have to try and use that ult in the best way possible. As a defense, though, it's harder to use that than if you're on offense.
We did see a blind come out right there onto multiple members. That's always a rough situation to be in. The grenade gets popped by the Killjoy. It's not going to pick anybody up. They're just trying to check and see if anyone was there. Location of Mischief is revealed, and unfortunately that extra info is more than enough for Viper to find you and get you down very fast. I would like to say that's a little bit of a revenge kill for that early kill that Mischief got on Viper, but you know, it could have just been a hi, how are you, goodbye, as we do see DTG able to take out Bad Apple, bringing us to a 5v3. The Infernos I feel like are going to have a very hard time defending either of these spots now.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Riptides, just kind of make a decision and get into a site if you want to try and get it down. But obviously, you can just play for the kills at this point. It's 5v2, no reason to get anything crazy. JJ's just kind of sitting back towards spawn. They're waiting to see if someone wants to push into this B site. And he did find one there, but the instant trade, it's down to that 4v1, and it's just Reyna. Just got to try and get as many as you can.
The spike is being planted by Cozy, as we do see that coming across that middle of the screen. Reyna has one of two options: jump in, frag out, do the best you can, or just stay away and try to keep your weapons. This is some good milk, however, and knowing them, they probably are going to try to go for that exit frag, even though they do not feel like they may be able to get that spike defused. Hopefully they have enough information here coming in to identify where some of these players are. They're trying to be very sneaky and very quiet. Their location is unfortunately known, though, and they go down very quickly.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. They did a good job of just sneaking through heaven there. But unfortunately for them, they got that reveal, and now Riptide start to get themselves closer and closer to game point. They're edging their one away from getting themselves on game point. Inferno cannot afford to lose another round right now.
I feel like even though they did not come out on top on that one, Inferno, this needs to not be an econ round for you. You need to go full buy and just ensure the fact that you will be able to hold down the points and take out members of Riptide. Do not spread out too much, but do not stay so clumped together that the Sova ult will just annihilate you.
Yeah, and I think that they've lost 2 in a row now, so they should have a little bit more econ coming back for them, so they should not have to worry about trying to force, I think, at this point. But if they do lose again, then it's going to start getting into a hairy situation. So they've got to win something here, and there's Riptide with a nice early first blood. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, some good milk is going to get taken out. Sage is dangerously low right now. Unfortunately, Phobix will find that connecting shot on Bad Apple. We've got Mischief and JJ trying to defend this spot B right now. They're anticipating that is where the plant's going to happen, and they are very right as Cozy manages to find that headshot there on JJ.
Yeah, you can see how the doors closed there from the side of Riptide, just, you know, closing down even more angles for Infernos to be able to push in, and it's down to a 1v5 here. That was just intelligent plays, you know, getting those doors closed, you know, making sure that Sky's not going to be able to push into the site, and there's the Flawless to get them onto game point.
It was so close to not being flawless, though. That Viper was so close.
Yeah, it was getting help from your teammates, and obviously that is going to put Infernos in a situation where it's now you have to force, obviously, because you're on game point, and just spend everything you got. So even if you win this next round, you're going to have to be winning rounds with not much at this point now. You are up a creek right now. If you're Infernos, you got to find a way to pull this back from the brink.
I have faith. But as I mentioned previously, it's okay if they do not come out on top on this one, because it is a best of 3. They have the opportunity to bring it back and get that second map win. It is all just going to come down to modifying how they played with the information that they gained from this round. We do see Cozy is going to put out that Killjoy already, and it looks like Viper's going to head in and try to get that plant off as quickly as possible. It is now down to a 5v4, and that Sage is not going to be able to res any of their teammates as Phobix gets that plant out.
Yeah, and Cozy's just done such a good job. This is the third ult that we've seen out of them this map. They've done a great job of finding the elims when they need to, you know, and making sure they're always on their ult. They did get traded out there, but they did find one. So into this 4v3 and Spike's down, this is going to be a tough retake. That was an important pick, though, from DJ.
Yeah, that jet was already very low, so their vulnerability was high. They needed to be careful, but unfortunately, it looks like, oh my goodness, there goes the ultimate right across the spike, and they're going to be able to take out Bad Apple with that one. JJ was anticipating it, though, and was waiting. However, Phobix will find them and take them out before they get the defuse.
Yeah, great use of the Hunter's Fury there to get them off the spike.
Once again, this is the Esports Tower Valorant Rumble. If you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then you need to join the club. That club in particular is the Esports Tower Club. Players get the opportunity to have insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles, recruiters, and get noticed as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or to land a collegiate scholarship. Check them out at esportstower.com.
Yeah, and we saw in that interview, you know, talking about colleges and the opportunities that you'll have. And this is the place to start. You know, if you're in any of these esports, starting here when you're in high school, thinking about your career early, just so critical, so critical.
An opportunity I wish all of us here had while we were in high school to be like, no, Mom, I'm practicing to go to college, as opposed to stop wasting your time and go outside. Not saying my parents ever said that to me. They were very supportive of my gaming. They even were like, I know you can't pause right now. Just come out when you're able to, you know, stop playing for a little bit so we can talk and we can get dinner or whatever. But with that being said, we'll be taking a short break after that very exciting first map, because like I said, it is a best of 3, and we'll be coming back for our map 2 of our grand finals. Riptide right now are 1 game away from being our first ever Esports Valorant Tower Rumble champions, and they will close this out in the next match, or the Infernos will bring it back. It's anybody's game. I'm not Caster Kirstness. We'll have to see. Check it out right after this break.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back to this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant. We're broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We just had an exciting 13-9 victory for the Riptide on Ascent, and now they are looking to close out our first ever Grand Finals on Bind. How do you feel like for the team Inferno, since this is now going to be their third map encounter with Riptide, if they're looking to really bring it back, what do they need to do in order to clutch this map out for themselves, Riley?
I mean, they played that last one really tight. I think they did a really good job of just kind of keeping it even, but I think the kind of consistent pushes by Riptide just running together and just being really intelligent with how they play it just ended up being too much, and they ended up trying to take these gunfights that were like 1v3, 1v4, and it just doesn't work. So playing together, I think, is going to be so critical if you're Inferno, if you want to have a chance of coming back and, you know, forcing map 3.
Well, before we get into our grand final, our game 2 of the grand finals, let's take a look back at how we got to this point. We had a lot of a really close series throughout the round robin stage, with a lot of games going the full distance. The Riptides took dominance in the group stage and advanced straight to the grand finals after going undefeated. The Infernos looked well coordinated in their first week as a team, and their dominance and were dominating their opponents, only losing out to the Riptides in the opening match. We saw the Infernos beat the Hurricanes in the best-of-1 semifinal to make our grand finals, so obviously they are here to lay their claim on that title just as much as the Riptides want to do that themselves.
Yeah, I think the Riptides obviously kind of just ripped through the group. I'm sorry, I have to. There's just too many opportunities
It's okay,
to do
I
it.
forgive you.
They did just kind of fly through those group stages, and they did a really good job of getting themselves right into it. Obviously, Infernos have had to battle their way back through those group stages and through the semifinals to get into this position. So I think now, you know, it's almost like, I think if you're the Inferno, you feel like you're playing with house money at this point. You know, like you had to fight to get here, you know, and you had to win a bunch more. And now just being here and throwing yourself in the situation, like, just go out. There's no pressure on you. Just go out and try and get the W, you know?
Well, those are Riley's key points to winning out this round for the Infernos, but we always do have Doc's keys to the game, and those in Valorant, our callouts are critical. Watch those corners, call out ability usage, and track enemy econ. Doc's keys to the game are presented today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up.
These people are ranking up. All these kids are ranking up. You know, we heard in our interview earlier, you know, the rank sometimes in the that you see coming through in League just doesn't matter because of the experience that they're getting here playing other elite players, you know?
I mean, both sides, for at least this game in particular, the Riptide and the Infernos have some insane players. We've got, you know, some good milk, of course, is popping off as always. Cozy on that Killjoy, insane. Yeah. And Mischief, also insane on that Sky. Across the board, all of these players are insanely skilled. It's anybody's game. It is a best of 3, so if you can bring it back, Inferno, it is back to a 0-0 score. There is no 1-1. It is just whoever wins the next one wins, and that's basically a best of 1. So that's the mindset you got to go in with. So can the Infernos make a comeback in this game, or will the Riptides be able to close it out right here on Bind? We're kicking off game 2 of our grand finales right now.
Kind of be interesting to see what the compositions go by here, and you see, it looks like on the side of Riptide, now we see a couple more that we haven't seen all day today. Looks like that Omen and that Cypher. Shout out Cypher. That's a fantastic main. Omen is, like, it's one of those things where, like, if you're good at it, like, you're really good at it.
One of my friends who basically has been my mentor in the realm of Valorant recently picked up Omen, and last night, every time that we played around, she was just like, Omen's my new main. Omen is my new main. And previously, she was playing Killjoy a lot, so it's very exciting to see other people playing Omen. After I've gotten a taste of how a well-rounded Valorant player is capable of playing Omen, I'm excited to see how someone I would consider possibly being able to go pro is going to pull out in this game for the side of the Riptide on that Omen, as we bring us to this first match here on Bind, which has to be my favorite map because of those teleports.
Yeah, the teleports are fun, and this map does create a lot of opportunities for good smoke as well. You see a Jet and the Omen coming through there with the smokes. You know, going to be able to block off quite a bit. As you see, the Infernos already have lost their Sage here, so great start if you're the Riptide winning this pistol round.
We've got the Sage on the side of the Riptide going a little bit slower. Of course, they've got that spike. They've got to be careful. Some good milk is looking to get some information. Their location was revealed right there, though, so they need to be careful as they're rotating back towards their teammates to make sure that they're not going to reveal anybody else.
Yeah, and it looks like It looks like the Riptide are just kind of playing all rotating back through mid here. You see Sage has the spike, and they're going to get this down on A. A very favorite site. You see A get played a lot more in competitive Valorant than you do this B site, just because it's so much easier to get the plant down on, and it's easier to defend. This this B site's so like kind of closed off, and this is such a smart play because look at Jet here from Riptide coming in on a little flank. They knew that the rotation was going to be there, and now they're behind. And you see the Reyna is going to find 2 as well. This was just such an elite setup here from Riptide.
And unfortunately, like just like that, Sky is going to find, sorry, not Sky, Jet is going to get a double, taking out some good milk. And their last remaining teammate for the side of the Infernos. We are now returning back to that buy phase. Since that was the Pistol Classic route, unfortunately for the Infernos, I feel like this is going to be the, we got to stick with pistols.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I'll be interested to see if Riptide, I imagine that we might just see a little bit more shield, maybe some abilities come out from them. Obviously, you don't want to force buy anything here, but again, I just have to just applaud the intelligence of the late wrap from the Jet there to come in and find those last 2. Coming in on that late flank there, that was just such, you know, like, that goes beyond 5-head. That's like 7-head play.
That would be a very horrifying thing to see in real life. As we're looking right now, we do see most players from both sides are kind of clumped up right here. 2 players for the side of the Infernos are spread out a little bit, but unfortunately they're already down 2, and Riptide is looking like they're going to be in a great position to plant. They're all surrounding this B, but if the Riptide is already planting, as I was about to say, they could just choose to back off, teleport, and go plant the other way. Unfortunately, they don't get it finished as Viper's was able to find Mischief while they're trying to get that plant off.
Yeah, and now Viper's got that ult online as well, so they're just kind of out there running with that Spectre. Dotbot finally does find one with the Sheriff, and there's the 4th coming through. Holy cow, Viper is starting this map off hot. 6 and through 2 rounds. Jeez.
Just got to keep that momentum going. We do see this round, the Reyna is choosing to grab that spike. Jet already has their ultimate online for the side of Riptide, whereas no one on the side of the Infernos has any ultimate ready. We may be able to see some of their charges as we swap around between the first-person perspectives. We do see right now that Phobix has, you know, just could grab an orb, get 2 kills, and have Empress ready to go if they so choose to pop it this round. But if you get 2 kills, you honestly probably don't need to pop it.
Yeah. And at that point, just save it. You know, there's no reason to be just investing everything super early. Spread everything out. You know, you imagine you'll see a Jet investment here within the next couple of rounds, especially when the spike's already in your hands. There's no reason to do anything crazy here. And this is going to be that nice little rotate as soon as I saw that Viper orb come out. And that Viper was trying to block him in, but they did a good job of getting through it. So, yeah, that was a good play there, just getting the info and wrapping immediately.
We are going to see the Cloudburst come out to try and decrease that Viper's ability to see anything, but unfortunately Viper will find Dot, but that Viper will also be taken out. Soapman is getting the plant off. It is now a 2v4, and it looks like that spike is most likely not going to get defused right now.
No, and then there's the Cypher cage as well right on the spike. Riptide's doing so well. They see there's the Cypher tripwire. It's one of those things where you're like, all right, I don't want to shoot it because everyone's going to know where I am, but now you might as well just...
You landed on it.
Yeah, at that point, you were just kind of stuck there. So here comes the judge. See if they can find anything, find an exit or something.
I think Bad Apple is hoping someone's just going to, you know, just do the ego thing and just come right around the corner and just try to gun him down. And let's be honest, a shotgun to the face is never fun.
No, this is not something you want to ego child corner and see, but that, yeah. Peeking that when you know they're going to be there, that's tough. That's tough.
Jet for the side of Riptide still has that ultimate lockdown and online. The Reyna is choosing to get the spike once again, so we possibly will be seeing a very aggressive first push with early kills and easy and quick spike planting. However, for the Infernos, they are going spread out once again, hoping to get as much information as possible, but they should know by now that Riptide likes to stay grouped.
Yeah. And there's really nothing you can do about that because Riptide do gun really well right now, and I don't think that this Jet has died yet. So this is going to be a nice little 2-push through long here to see if they can find anything. No one seems to be looking at this. Now they might be peeking over onto it. It's going to Are they going to TP or are they actually going to push through here?
We've got Soapman and Phobix finding some kills, and then Dotbot's going to find that kill onto Soapix. Cozy will take out Frosty, and that brings us to a 2v4. Riptide is up 2 players right now. Their Sage is still alive with that spike. They did lose their Reyna, but that's okay. The spike has been planted. Jet is looking a little low on health, as is Omen. So Sage is going to choose to heal up Omen. They were a little bit lower. It's just Viper and Sky remaining. Now Soapman has picked up Sky, so it's just the Viper. And with that, the attackers win as Dotbot goes down to Viper.
I'm pretty sure this Jet could have popped their ult like 2 rounds ago when they got it and have it back right now. Like, that is legitimately how well they're playing. This is actually kind of just ridiculous how dominant these first 4 rounds are. Riptide.
Oh, are they going for a wall peek? No, they're not. Okay.
Riptide's just doing their thing right now.
We do have DTJ here on the Omen. Well, yes, on the... My brain just malfunctioned. They have the spike right now. There's 3 ultimates online for the side of Riptide. The smoke has gone out already, so they kind of have guaranteed where they're going to push. Unfortunately, I feel like they missed the spot that they were looking for right there, as we do see that there is a wall up right now, but they're trying to just spray it down and get some information as Dotbot goes down to Soapman very early, and then Frosty takes out Soapman, but Frosty's going to go down too.
I really don't know that they missed their spot there. I think they just wanted to smoke U-Haul off there, and they did a good job of using that to kind of play around, you know, get in and out of U-Haul, and that was a nice little turn there. A nice little TP as well to get onto the other side of site there just to try and do something. But yeah, there's Sky with popping one of her abilities, and she's just playing up in top heaven, just seeing if she can find anything. There's Sova's camera down, but Cypher with a great peek. Cozy, nice work.
And unfortunately, I do not think that they'll be able to get this defuse off in time, and the attackers will ultimately win, taking out the defenders with time remaining on the spike.
Yeah, and you know what? When you are able to run these controllers so well, that like Riptide is doing, plus running a duelist like Jet with using the smoke on this map, I mean, you're able to get so much information between Omen and Jet, just being able to pop that smoke and shut down things, and then Cypher as well to get the info. This is brutal to try and go against when you don't have any smokes really to counter here if you're Inferno.
For the side of Riptide, we did not see the Omen, nor did we see the Cypher in that first map. This is just them really demonstrating the depth of their hero pools that they have access here to. Also to kind of, you know, change things up and, you know, force the side of the Infernos to expect the unexpected, but saying that is kind of an oxymoron in itself. Like, if you don't know what the heck they're gonna do, what can you expect? And with that in mind, it makes it more difficult to try and get in the head of the enemy team and come out on top. Unfortunately, the Infernos have already lost 1 player. Jet has finally chosen to pop that ultimate as the Infernos go down another. Viper does find some good milk very quickly as they hear one of their teammates go down to Phobix. They know where they're at based off that sound, and because it was a shotgun, they chose not to engage in a small space. Smart move.
Do you remember when I said how when a Jet gets really confident, it's disgusting to play against?
Yeah, is that happening right now?
Oh my! the Sky blind came through. That's a nice Jet shot there, but the Sky blind came through. They popped the smoke, danced through the smoke, eco-chowed through all the knives at him, got the elim, and then just started flying at people. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I am very impressed with this Jet.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, as this game could end up deciding our first ever Esports Tower Valorant Rumble champion, to solidify themselves as the best team going in at just 2 weeks, I think that Jet is going to be popping off continuously, and after getting that confidence boost from just doing insane with their ult just then, probably gonna see it happen again here very soon.
I honestly don't know if they've died.
They have not.
I mean, this is crazy.
Not this map, at least. They have not died.
This is crazy. I love it. I love how confident they're playing right now because, yeah, this is scary stuff to be playing against.
We do see, unfortunately, Frosty has been discovered by the Jet, and Frosty is going to go down a little bit. They're going to get healed up, thankfully. However, Viper on this Jet is very scary. We've already established that. They're now just trying to get information, figure out where everyone's at, get some early kills. We do see Soapman is going to be able to take out Dotbot. However, we hear some teleportations coming out. Viper's trying to check their corners, ensure that they're not going to be followed, as we've got now a 5v3, and the Infernos are really hurting right now as the push is happening with that spike already being planted.
And that was just such a brilliant use of the TP, and it looks like here's the Empress getting popped on the side of Some Good Milk, because you have to try and retake, because Riptide, again, huge brains to hit that crazy TP to get to the other side, and Phobix just ripped Some Good Milk off the Empress there. Didn't really get you much in the end, but you kind of had to pop it because going down 7-0, that's tough. That's tough.
We do have Sage and Killjoy for the side of the Infernos, though. They have their ultimates. We've already established that Killjoy is very good at utilizing their ultimate to just zone, which in my games that I am, you know, are more my forte. Using your ult as a zoning ult is kind of useless unless it's like something that charges really easily, like a Shatter, and you're a good Reinhardt. However, the ability and zoning in this game, because of how short these rounds are, is insane. And if that Killjoy can manage to do it just right to allow their team to get the defuse, if that plant does go off from that Sage, would be huge. And as I say that, unfortunately, Sage and Reyna for the side of the Infernos will go down. Dotbot will find Cozy, so there is... things are evening out a little bit. However, that clock is still ticking.
Such a great leer there to get into hookah here. That was so smart. And you hear there's the Sage res coming through. So down to a 5v2 all of a sudden, and there's that Killjoy that you were talking about coming out. Let's see if that can stop the plant coming through on this side. And it's not going to, because they don't.
It was procced a little bit too early, unfortunately, I feel like.
Yeah, they thought it was going to be the good play, but unfortunately, it looks like Riptide were already over on A when it got popped, basically.
It be like that sometimes. The spike has been planted. There's still two people standing for the Infernos. It is a 2v5. No one has ults anymore, for the side of the Infernos at least. We do have Omen and Cypher, however, both have their ultimates. I do not think they're going to pop them this round. This is going to be just a hang on to them real quick and maybe go ham next round. As we do see the blind come out, but that's not going to be enough to stop this from the spike from detonating. You just need to get out if you are the side of the Infernos right now.
Yeah, save the guns, but it looks like the Cypher cage has gone off. They know he was in there. Cozy just, you know, kind of spraying through there because they know exactly where they were. There's the final elim as well. Cozy just flying at the spike there because at this point it just doesn't really matter. And I think that he somehow was able to not die because I think the round timer ended before.
Oh, so if you are the attacking team and you plant the spike, you don't actually die despite the detonator going off. I myself was standing right next to it last night to investigate whether or not it would take me out. And I was like, oh no, I'm still alive. We're good.
There you go. Very nice, and nice little change through the game because I definitely have died to that many times in the past. So that's a nice change that those little tweaks in the game that you're not always privy to if you haven't tried it before. That's interesting.
At least in unranked. It might be different in competitive play, but I'm 90% positive it's the same.
Well, I'll tell you what, that brave of you to try it.
Well, there was no way I was going to get out, but there was two defusing, and I killed them. I was on stage, and I was just like, well, I'm last man standing, and the spike's going to detonate in like 3.5 seconds. I can't live.
Yeah, it's fair.
We do see that we've got Some Good Milk trying to push up right now. Sage once again has that spike. Phobix is going to find Bad Apple on the side of the Infernos, so unfortunately the Infernos are down 2 now. Jet once again has that ultimate, doesn't use it, takes out Mischief immediately. And it looks like just for the side of the Infernos, it's just a sit and wait game now.
Yeah, in life there are 3 things that are going to always happen: death, taxes, and this Jet just finding a ludicrous amount of kills every round, apparently, because it's becoming standard.
I was wondering what that third point was going to be, because I was always told, you know, there's 2 things in life: you pay taxes and you die. I guess now the third is you die to Jet.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that could just be an edit of that, because boy, once again, another crazy round just TPing away from that spike there at the end. But yeah, man, I would love to see what she is right now because it's a ludicrous number.
Yo, Viper, can you hit that tab button? Let us see that KDA real fast. Or Frosty, just one of you. Let us see it. Viper, once again, on that Jet, has the ultimate ability ready to go. Reyna has the spike. We do see that Sage and Sky for the Infernos have their ultimates ready to go, but I do not feel as though that's going to be enough to stop Jet if they pop that ult.
Yeah, it's one of those things though where if you're Infernos, you gotta invest them as soon as you got them. At this point, you can't afford to not, you know, at this point. And there's a big investment over here on this B side to try and get a lot of these utilities in. And it'll be interesting to see if Riptide try and force it down the side or if they just rotate back again.
They're doing it right now. DT's doing a fantastic job of making sure those corners are clear for their Reyna, who is pushing in a little bit faster than them. We do have Omen with the spike sending out some smoke right now. Jet still hanging on to that ultimate, and no one has gone down for the Infernos just yet, which is great. They're playing it a little bit slower, not being too aggressive. Their Stage can res them if they're not in a risky situation. However, with that being said, we hear the teleports come out. The rotation is beginning to happen right now, and it looks like the side of Riptide played the juke and is going to go for the plant on to site A as opposed to B.
Although it looks like Infernos have read it this time. They were ready to roll, and they didn't let it just be such an easy rotation. Although once again, there's Jet with another Elim, playing this in kind of the back of the map, just waiting for people to rotate.
Jet, what did you eat for breakfast?
It was obviously some good milk.
Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, the last player standing for the side of the Infernos is Bad Apple on that Sage. They are just now going to maybe try to get an exit frag of, oh, there you go. You took out Viper. There's the first kill. We do see them heal themselves. They're just probably going to try to stay alive. That timer, the ticking is getting faster. You know that that spike is close to detonating. You just need to get out alive at this point, Sage.
Yeah, no reason to do anything crazy here. Nice little exit Elim. Try and find anything else that you can.
Just go! Oh! Had you just popped through that portal a little bit faster, you would have been okay. Cozy, unfortunately, was like, dude, I see you.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Although, I will say, good job, though. You found Jet, something no one has managed to do.
Yes, you killed Jet. Congratulations.
Bravo.
Nicely done.
Bravo.
All right, so we are now at round 10. Just 3 more, and Riptide will clutch this and bring out the victory and that first ever Valorant Rumble champion. However, they only have Jet's ult online, and instead we've got Viper and Sage's ult for the side of the Infernos online. If they use those smart, they might be able to come out on top. Unfortunately, Soapman is going to take out Dotbot, so there goes that Viper ultimate anyway, and the Reyna is going to be taken out by the Omen from the side of Riptide. We hear the plant happening from Cozy right now. 3 players remaining for the side of the Infernos. They need to try and either get these kills or rush in, somehow zone the point and get the defuse. I just don't know if they can find that zone as Frosty goes down. Mischief will manage to find Phobix and Viper, so there's the second kill on that Jet. Nicely done. It's a 2v3. They can still come out on top, but they need to push quickly.
It's all gonna have to come through, yeah, right in that little crevice there. It's gotta come through U-Haul now, and Bad Apple's just the last alive here. Gotta try and find the 2v1. Push through U-Haul, you got the heal, but you don't have a lot of time. That timer starts ticking quick. It's at some point, it's now or never.
Unfortunately, and you gotta make a choice, and the choice is to run. But you didn't make it fast enough, so Cozy once again will find you, Bad Apple, and take you out.
Last round before the switch.
As we just heard by the announcer within the game, this is the last round, so all ultimates should be popped, as I mentioned, although we have seen them not popped even in the last round. This is full buy round. If you have the funds to do it, spend the extra money on your homies to help them get that gun. We do see Viper on that Jet going with the operator and taking the long peek. We could see an early dirty sniper kill here coming out. I really hope we do, because those are very satisfying.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to see Jet decide to pull one at any point this game, just with how well they've been playing, that confidence going, and we know the Jet operator combo is just ludicrous. So interesting that we do finally see it come out. You see this double push into Hookah. That Viper screen is going to try and block it a little bit, but you did hear a Reyna pop as well, but nice 2 early elims for Inferno to try and get one back before this next pistol.
We do see that the killjoy for the side of Inferno is currently down. Sage does have that res, but they're probably not in the best situation to try and get that res off. The Venom Cloud is over here blocking off these people from trying to get in, as is the wall. So a double ability usage right there to try and sustain on the point, trying to prevent this spike plant from happening. And it's going to be enough to leave it with just Jet standing. But Jet has gotten that ace before, and there goes some good milk, but Dotbot will ultimately find Viper before the round ends.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, when you're in a 1v5 or a 1v4 at the off, it doesn't, you know, that's kind of that's a good luck situation there. But it is a nice little confidence booster for Inferno to get a round before the pistol round and just try and bring it back. You know, you don't feel like, I mean, you're not quite on game point every round. Close, but not quite.
We do, the round has swapped, so for the side of Riptide, they are the defenders this time, and the Infernos are the aggressors. We have Sage with that spike once again, and, ooh, Dapa, you got the ghost. I like it. Multiple players got the ghost. It makes me feel happy. Makes me feel like I don't make a bad decision.
Yeah, I don't think we were quite on stream. We were talking about that, how you like to, maybe we were. You were talking about running around with the pistols, and the Ghost is such a good gun to be using early on here. It's an intelligent play.
We do see the Venom Wall comes out, but despite that, Cozy's still gonna find Dotbot and Mischief right away, so the Infernos are already down 2, leaving it a 3v5. Their Sage is still alive, thankfully hasn't dropped the spike. No res is going to be available, of course, because this is round 1. They do find Viper. Some good milk getting that revenge very early on in this round, trying to even out that operator score, so to speak. This heal comes out from the Sage onto Phobic, so that'll keep them alive and allow them to continue to be initiator here. But as they are the aggressors, the sit and wait game is a little bit more difficult to play here.
Yeah, it is. You gotta be able to do something here. You gotta start getting your way into a site, into this 3v3 or 3v4, excuse me, and Riptide's just going to kind of sit on sites. No reason to do anything crazy. You know, you see it's kind of a 2-split here, and they're just holding sight lines, and it looks like Infernos are still a little bit indecisive on where they want to go as well.
Unfortunately for the side of the Infernos, they did see that the Cypher tripwire was blocking one of the pathways for them to move around, and they straight up, like, we saw Reyna just shake their head, obviously probably in comms, saying, yeah, no, go this way, they'll know. And they had to make a choice, as we do see Phobix is going to pick up Frosty. Sage for the side of the Infernos is looking dangerously low right now. Their heal is still a little bit on cooldown, a couple more seconds. Like I said, there's that tripwire once again, but at this point, it's okay for everyone to know where you're at. You've only got a minute, 1 second remaining, and Sage is just going to try and get out without being blown up by the detonator spike.
Yeah, you got to just kind of, at that point, you know, everyone knows where you are. There's nothing you can really do about it. And this is what Riptide seem to be doing really well, just locking down sites and just playing things intelligently. Their defense is just as intelligent as their offense.
Right now, we are at match point. If you are the Riptide, they just need one more round to win. Unfortunately, for the side of the Infernos, having lost that pistol round is going to mean that they are kind of short on funds, so to speak. But we do see Bad Apple choosing to go with the Marshall early on here. Maybe we'll see some early picks and this get dragged out and this not be the final round for the Infernos. They come back with a vengeance as we see multiple hit shot fires, picking up no one, not connecting with anybody either. Unfortunately, as we mentioned, no scoping with the sniper rifle in this game is insanely difficult.
Yeah, and when you don't know where they are, at that point you're just kind of firing through hope and you can find something. But this is a tough situation here. You see a little bit of the LMG play there coming through, and the trades are just the trades are not in Riptide's favor.
They are not. Some good milk managed to find Cozy right there, leaving Riptide with just 2 players standing. However, multiple members of the side of the Infernos are very weak. The heal does come out from Sage onto that Reyna, and the attackers will win out that round with the help from some good milk.
Yeah, the LMG play there, the Ares, smart play. That's something that I don't think we see get used enough in Valorant. You know, being able to just lock down a site that way, it can be deadly. And as frustrating it is to play against, it is very nice to be using here, and this was a great chow there. That's what you can do with it. It's good from long range, it's good from short range, it's good at medium. It's a nasty gun.
As we go into the beginning of this next round right here, we did see that the Sage once again is carrying that Marshall, so they're looking for those sneaky picks. Hopefully they stop firing from their hip though and actually take a second to aim down and try and get a nice clean shot. However, when you're playing against that Jet from Riptide, if you get seen, you're often going to also get killed. So I totally understand the panic hip firing that's occurring.
Yeah, I think some of it might just be at this point they just want to find a pick, you know, trying to find some sort of momentum. I mean, this is going to be an insane comeback anyway, so I think they're just trying to do whatever they can.
We did see that early pick come out onto the Jet, and then some good Milk managed to pick up 2 more, leaving just the Reyna and the Sage alive for the side of Riptide. They did get the plant off, so now it is up to those 2 remaining members to either get out alive or do exactly what that just happened, which was unfortunately get gunned down.
Yeah, just pushed right into the sky, apparently was the other option there, and it was not the correct option.
We are still at match point though. If Riptide manages to win on the defense on any of these rounds, it will be the end of game 2 and they will clutch out their first ever championship title here for the Valorant Esports Tower Rumble. However, the Infernos are showing signs of life. Maybe that was their warm-up. Maybe they were still calculating how to take out the Riptide. Maybe they're a second-round team. Nobody knows, but they are improving.
Well, and I think that this just shows how sometimes different maps are just heavy on one side, you know. And this is obviously it's an offense map, just because A site is a lot easier to plant on.
Spike down B.
The Sage trades there coming through.
Is it worth it? As we do see Mischief take out the Omen. Also, Jet is once again chilling out on that ultimate. Reyna for the side of the Infernos does have that Empress ready to go. Sage is still alive, thankfully for the Infernos, however. They have the spike, they're ready to go. They just need to secure this point, as we do see Bad Apple managing to take out Viper. It is now a 4v2. I feel like they can get this one done. Phobix finds Mischief. Oh my goodness, it is now back to 2v2 as Phobix then picks up Bad Apple. We hear the Empress get procced by, I believe, the Reyna on the side of the Infernos right now. So they're out for blood.
Yeah, and there's that Cypher cage as well, you know, just forcing info if they try and push up onto that ledge of Hookah there. It's going to force probably a rotate back towards B site here, or towards A site, excuse me. And yeah, it looks like they are. Cozy's going to be having that camera out trying to get that info, and now they know. So they got to try and rotate back, and Frosty's going to get that swarm grenade right down so no one can push up onto him on the spike. This was a good play from Riptide. Or from Infernos, excuse me.
With Cypher being so low, it's really going to be up to their Reyna to get a lot of the forward aggression as they push in to try and get this defuse. Getting information, Cozy is right up against that Reyna. Will they be able to take them out? No, some good Milk is going to do that and then get the overheal. So this Reyna is now 1v2. And the spike is unfortunately going to detonate. They just are either going to get this exit frag, get out alive, or die. We'll have to see as they round this corner, and they do take out some good Milk. There's the overheal, but they need to teleport and get away so they can keep their weapons.
Yeah, that was a good play. I was wondering if they were going to try and tap it and bait just to see if they could find the Vexity limb, but good play to just get out with the TP there and not mess with it. But I'll tell you what, good work from the Infernos. You know, that's 3 straight rounds, you know, just utilizing this offense to kind of bring it back. And this is interesting. Like I said, this just shows how offense heavy this map is.
This map may be very offense heavy, but Bind is actually looking to be Riptide's best map throughout the entire course of the tournament. They dominated on this map, and they did not drop it up until this point. So we are still at match point. It's still an 8-point differential right now. It's going to be a hard comeback for the Infernos, but I still have faith in them to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they can find a couple more rounds, then this starts to get real interesting. If they can get this up to like a 7-12 or even an 8-12, yeah, this is going to be This is going to be interesting.
We do have Reyna on the side of Riptide ready with that Empress. Viper has already found Mischief. There goes the Empress being procced right there from Phobix. They're just crossing right through that Venom wall dropped by Viper. The spike is still in the hands of Sage, so no, the spike carrier has not been killed. However, their push is being dramatically slowed now with all of these abilities being used. The Omen is going to be taken out by Dot right there. Now it's a 3v4. The spike's been planted. However, Some Good Milk's going to take out Dotbot right then. A 3v3. I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot to plant, but it looks like Riptide are finally going to close this out here. They've got this down to a 2v1, and it's just Frosty. Not saying that it's over, though. They did plant this in such an odd spot that it's easily accessible from showers. The Cypher Cage is just going to be too much, though, for him, and that's going to do it.
Defenders win.
And with that last round victory, Riptide is our winner for the Esports Tower Valorant Rumble. Congratulations, you guys. That is pseudo, history. So all in all, congratulations, Riptide. Also, congratulations to everyone from the Esports Tower Valorant in this Rumble. Specifically, Riptide, you are our first ever champions. Nicely done.
Yeah, congratulations to Riptide. We saw some great gameplay, though, all around. Saw some crazy stuff happen, so that was an amazing Rumble.
Well, if you want to be seen by some expert college recruits, Doc Haskell, talk directly to Esports Tower industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then you really ought to join the club. And that club in particular is the Esports Tower Club, where players get insider access to industry insight with our featured Rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice of these events as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship.
Yeah, these are great opportunities for these players to, like we talked about, just get exposed, and they're doing that. We saw some great play there in that Rumble from some of these players, so I'm sure that the recruiters are taking notice and taking names.
I'm sorry, I had to look directly at our recruiter as we said that. Well, you said it already. We were thoroughly impressed by the skill of these Esports Tower players, and if you are looking to get better, rank up in any way, shape, or form, Valorant's not the only one. Remember, you can always sign up for Esports Tower Valorant clubs or their other clubs at esportstower.com. They compete on a weekly basis, and these events will continue every week with these competitions. With that in mind, however, since we saw these players pop off so much, we do have to pick an ICCU player of the game. Now, I do think both you and I are on the same page with who we think the ICCU player of the game is going to be, and I think for me, it's Viper on that jet.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it wasn't. Just with the incredible skill to start that game off at some ludicrous number. So yeah, I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Well, there you go. That's both of our bets for the ICCU player of the game, and we will be finding out in just a second who it is. Get to check out their pop-off highlight reel, and it's looking like it's actually going to be Frosty. The player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Frosty is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Kudos to you, Frosty.
Yeah, and you know what? This was ridiculous. I will say the shots here with the Marshall.
Oh
so
my gosh!
I understand where that comes from. And he did pop off, or they did their thing to get their team into this final. So
Frosty do the thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, as we're preparing to close out this glorious Grand Championship, a first time ever that we get to experience, and we'll get to do it once again next week. Do you have any big takeaways from this game?
I mean, I was not surprised to see some just ridiculous plays coming out, but I do think that what I can take away from this is just how valuable these more communication and more time working with each other can provide. Because 2 weeks ago when we got to cast these guys, it was really, really impressive. Now it's even more so. Like the cohesiveness of the teams between these fantastic guys and girls is just it's becoming more and more obvious.
Well, we'll be able to actually watch some of those insane pop-off highlight moments because we're going to close out this lovely broadcast here with the top 5 presented to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20K bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Check them out at iGuardGaming.com. Here is our top 5 plays of the game from Valorant.
Not in Riptide's favor.
They are not. Some Good Milk managed to find Cozy right there, leaving Riptide with just 2 players standing. However, multiple members of the side of the Infernos are very weak. The heal does come out from Sage onto that Reyna, and the attackers will win out that round with the help from Some Good Milk. Mid to try and gather some information. I do think this Riptide are going to favor planting on A, trying to maybe take some of the attention away from the enemy team, but we'll have to see how this goes as we do see the Cloudburst come out, and Viper's gonna get that ace on Sky. That has to feel good.
Yeah.
Do see that Killjoy's looking out to possibly throw out one of their grenades to get the opportunity for their Sage to block off this point. We see Sage is now planting with the help of Killjoy, but the other Sage is looking right at both of them and gets a double and the defuse.
Yeah, and that's almost tough in that case.
Oh my gosh.
You're Yeah, that overheal is so clutch, and this is such a tough situation here for Raskin. I mean, you're in a 1v5, second pistol. You know, you've got the ghost going on, and again, there's the crosshair placement. But I mean, you're getting triple chout. That's a great little tailwind to get away there, though. And, oh my goodness!
My goodness!
Oh my goodness!
Are we? Oh, you know.
You know what? This is something that we don't see too often. These Viper abilities as well. Inferno's just, you know, using a different setup to meta, and the Marshal doing some work.
Yes!
Oh,
yes,
was that
Frosty!
a Nosk? Oh my
yes!
goodness! Oh!
Frosty coming